Chapter 1625. As for the shares of the jewelry company, Yang Ming intended to leave all of them to Zhang Bin. As for the newly established real estate company, Yang Ming intended to leave it to Li Dagang. As for the Sun family's company in Donghai, Yang Ming had decided to give it to Tian Donghua before. As for Qin Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, Zhou Jiejia, Huang Lele, Xiao Qing, Sun Jia, and Zhao Ying, the private funds in Yang Ming's hands were left to them. It was enough for them to live. In addition, there were also the islands in Africa. These were the things that Yang Ming left to them. As for Suya, she was not short of money. In fact, Yang Ming did not want her to know that he had gone to Yunnan. Yang Ming was really afraid that she would not be able to bear it. This kind of parting after reunion was the saddest. The rest were his parents, but Yang Ming left Ming Yang Heavy Industry to them. It should be able to continue operating. However, if he really could not come back, could his relationship with old Buffon still be maintained? Although most of the technology had been introduced to Ming Yang Heavy Industry and assembled its own production line, it was unknown whether Ming Yang Heavy Industry could embark on the road of independent research and development from the initial stage of introduction. If it blindly relied on ready-made technology, then it was destined to be eliminated many years later. However, these were not things that Yang Ming could worry about. He could only do these. Then, if you give it to me, will Sister Meng Yan and the others have any thoughts about it? After Jing Xiaolu was happy, she thought of a more practical problem. If Yang Ming gave the shares to her, would Qin Meng Yan be unwilling? After all, she was Yang Ming's real girlfriend. This company should be Qin Meng Yan's. I have other things to give them. Yang Ming explained with a smile, you've always been involved in this company, so it's normal to give it to you. Don't worry, Qin Meng Yan won't have any objections. That's good. Jing Xiaolu breathed a sigh of relief after hearing it. If Sister Meng Yan is not happy, then I would rather not have it. Can you bear to not want it? Yang Ming smiled and said, as far as I know, the total assets of these two Ming Yang companies have exceeded 300 million. Adding the Songjiang International Hotel and the Nightless Club, the total assets are more than 500 million. Am I that greedy in your impression? Jing Xiaolu snorted after listening to Yang Ming's words. It seems to be so, right? Yang Ming smiled and said, when I first met you, you kept talking about money. And, when we met again later, you still wanted me to support you? This. Jing Xiaolu was a little embarrassed suddenly. She blinked her eyes in grievance. I was really poor before, but now the vice president's salary is enough to supplement my family and my grandmother's medical expenses. My own pocket money is enough, so I don't need a lot. Oh. Then I misunderstood you. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and shook his head. It seems that you are not very greedy. But no one will complain about having more money. Of course, I want the shares you give me. Only a fool wouldn't want it. Jing Xiaolu said, if you don't want me in the future, I won't be so poor. I don't have to find another man. I can live a comfortable life. Yang Ming was a little speechless about Jing Xiaolu's answer, but Jing Xiaolu's words also said some of the facts that were about to happen. It was not that Yang Ming didn't want her, but Yang Ming himself didn't know how long he would be gone and whether he would come back. Why? Are you scared? I just said it casually. Jing Xiaolu laughed, but she didn't notice the sadness between Yang Ming's eyebrows. No, it's fine. Yang Ming shrugged. Since you have no opinion, I will let Bao Sanli handle this matter in the next few days. Don't be so anxious. Jing Xiaolu was afraid that Yang Ming would say that she was greedy, so she quickly waved her hand. Since you remember, just do it. Yang Ming smiled and didn't say much. Chen Xiaolong drove the BMW that he had just bought. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. He thought, didn't father go to talk to Yang Ming today? How can this Yang Ming still appear on the road? And he is driving a BMW X5 luxury car, which is actually a grade higher than my car. What is going on? Could it be that the person I met today is Yang Ming's twin brother? If Chen Xiaolong and Yang Ming weren't classmates before, and he knew that Yang Ming didn't have a so-called twin brother, he might really think that the person in front of him was not Yang Ming today. However, with Chen Xiaolong's familiarity with Yang Ming, the person he met today was the same as Yang Ming in terms of tone and behavior, so he was sure that the person he met was indeed Yang Ming. Dad, didn't you say that you were looking for Yang Ming to talk about something? Why did I meet Yang Ming on the street? Chen Xiaolong returned to the Songjiang International Hotel's presidential suite angrily and complained unhappily as soon as he entered the door. Xiaolong, you're back. Chen Jie saw his unhappy son and quickly asked with concern, what's wrong? Did Yang Ming find trouble with you? That's right. I just picked up a BMW and was going to show it to Chen Mengyan. If she likes it, I will give it to her. But I didn't expect to meet Yang Ming halfway. This kid hit my car with his car. The new car is full of holes. I can't even find Chen Mengyan. Chen Xiaolong complained in one breath, and I don't know where this kid got a BMW X5, which is more high-end than my car. Xiaolong, the situation has changed a little. Chen Jie quietly listened to Chen Xiaolong's complaints, and then his expression changed. He said sternly, I'm afraid there is a big discrepancy between our previous information and now. There is a big discrepancy in the information? What do you mean? Chen Xiaolong was stunned and asked in astonishment. Yang Ming, that kid, is not a poor guy, but very rich. Chen Jie couldn't help but frown when he said this. The hotel we are staying in now belongs to that kid. This was a pain in Chen Jie's heart. The hotel he was staying in was actually Yang Ming's property. He even pretended to call Yang Ming to come to the presidential suite here to talk to Yang Ming. Talk to him in his hotel? Chen Jie blushed when he thought about it, but in contrast, his hatred for Yang Ming was even stronger. Some people are always like this. While they hate others, they don't think about their own mistakes first. All of this was caused by Chen Jie himself. What did it have to do with Yang Ming? This hotel? It belongs to Yang Ming? Dad, are you kidding me? How is this possible? Chen Xiaolong was completely dumbfounded when he heard his father's words. Isn't this hotel Wang Jitao's family? He is our classmate, Wang Jitao. His father is Wang Shifan. Did you know him back then? I have inquired. Wang Shifan was arrested before the new year. This hotel is definitely not Wang Shifan's. Chen Jie shook his head and said, previously, when that kid Yang Ming told me about it, I didn't believe it. But after I thought about it carefully, it is possible. What do you mean? Asked Chen Xiaolong. Think about it. What kind of person is Chen Fei? He is now a leader in the city. Even if he doesn't find a match for Chen Mengyan, he should find someone similar, right? Chen Jie analyzed, if Yang Ming's family is nothing, would Chen Fei agree to this marriage? From the fact that he brought Yang Ming to the hotel, it is obvious that Chen Fei has agreed to this marriage. So, this hotel may really belong to Yang Ming's family. It can't be, right? In that case, wouldn't the matter between me and Chen Mengyan? Chen Xiaolong's face immediately became worse when he heard this situation. He looked like a shriveled eggplant. Dad, you have to think of a way for me. Xiaolong, it's not that Dad doesn't want to think of a way. Chen Jie frowned. In fact, I also want to teach this kid a lesson. He actually dares to act in front of me. Who does he think he is? This hotel only has 1 or 200 million assets. How can it be compared to your dad? Dad, then what should we do now? Chen Xiaolong didn't care about how much money Yang Ming had, but he was concerned about whether he could be with Chen Mengyan. Before you came back, I had been thinking of a way. But after thinking about it, I couldn't think of a good way. When Chen Jie said this, his face was full of bitterness. This kid doesn't listen to reason or force. I really can't do anything to him in Songjiang. If we were in the south, I would find someone to kill him. Chen Jie was also a ruthless character. He was forced into a corner by Hu San, so he had developed a heart of stone. When he was in the south, he also did some illegal business. So, only Chen Xiaolong was here, so Chen Zhiye said ruthless words. Dad, why don't we find Yin Biaozi and the others to kill this guy surnamed Yang? Chen Xiaolong heard his father's words and immediately said. This Yin Biaozi was a desperado that Chen Xiaolong met in the South's K city. He helped Chen Xiaolong deal with a few people who went against him ruthlessly. Nonsense, don't you think about what Chen Fei does? Chen Zhiye glared at Chen Xiaolong. If we could kill him, I wouldn't have to worry about it. Chapter 1626. Then what should I do? Chen Xiaolong was now bent on getting Chen Mengyan. He originally thought that he would be able to get Chen Mengyan's favor when he returned home with his father in glory. He did not expect a love rival like Yang Ming to appear. Originally, Chen Xiaolong did not put Yang Ming in his eyes. But now that he heard that Yang Ming was also a billionaire, he was in a bit of a dilemma. The trump card that he had always used to pick up girls had failed this time. Chen Xiaolong really had no other way. And the omnipotent father in his eyes had no other way at this moment. This made Chen Xiaolong very desperate. He lowered his head and sat on the sofa in the room. Chen Zhiye also saw Chen Xiaolong's disappointment. Since his wife ran away with someone else, Chen Xiaolong had become his only one. He had become the person he cared about the most. He gave all his love to Chen Xiaolong. So he was not dissatisfied with what Chen Xiaolong wanted. He would do his best to help Chen Xiaolong do what he wanted to do. In the southern K city, Chen Xiaolong had caused trouble. Chen Zhiye had also settled a lot of relationships with his own connections and Kaik's foreign businessman identity. This time in Songjiang, it was the first time that he felt powerless. First of all, Chen Fei's current position was already the police chief. Yang Ming's family was not what they used to be. This made some of the plans that he had originally prepared useless. However, he did not want to disappoint Chen Xiaolong, and he absolutely would not allow his son to be disappointed. Whatever his son wanted, he would definitely help him get it. Chen Zhiye gritted his teeth. Since I can't play dirty here, I will play dirty with Yang Ming. Don't you own a hotel? Well, then I will also open a hotel and play you to death. Thinking of this, Chen Zhiye's eyes suddenly lit up. Of course, he was not going to open a hotel himself because if he opened one, he would not be as good as Yang Ming, who grew up locally, in terms of interpersonal relationships and influence. Although Chen Zhiye was also from here, he had not lived here for many years. The world had changed. Chen Zhiye's idea was to call his former boss, Kaik, and ask Kaik to help him deal with Yang Ming. As far as he knew, Kaik's family was a very powerful family. It was very influential in Europe. In addition to doing some underworld business, Kaik's family's biggest industry was the global hotel industry and porn industry. He was going to persuade Kaik, who had now taken over as the patriarch, to invest in a hotel in Songjiang. Although Yang Ming may have some powerful connections, he would not get any benefits if he was Kaik's on his side. But Kaik was different. Kaik's identity was a foreign businessman, and he represented an influential family in Europe. For such a businessman to go against Yang Ming believed that even with his relationship with Yang Ming, he wouldn't dare to do anything to Kaik. At that time, Yang Ming could only swallow his pride. How? Chen Zhiye asked himself. Kaik has been very kind to me. Before he left the entire foreign trade company to me. It could be said that Kaik not only did not owe him anything, but he was also indebted to him. This made it difficult for Chen Zhiye to speak. But for his son and Chen Xiaolong, Chen Zhiye had to try no matter what. Xiaolong, don't worry. Dad has thought of a way. Chen Zhiye said to his dejected son on the sofa, this time, I will sacrifice my old face and help you kill that Yang Ming. I will let you get the beauty. Really? Chen Xiaolong's eyes suddenly lit up. Dad, you didn't lie to me, right? When did I lie to you? Seeing Chen Xiaolong happy, Chen Zhiye's mood also improved. I'm going to call your uncle Kaik and ask him to invest in a hotel here. It will be built near Yang Ming's hotel and directly kill Yang Ming with the price and service. Yes, isn't Uncle Kaik's family in the hotel industry? Chen Xiaolong was overjoyed when he heard Chen Jie's words. If he is willing to invest here, then Yang Ming is dead. With the level of his hotel's lousy decoration, he will definitely be finished. Chen Jie smiled bitterly after listening to his son's words. So far, he had no confidence in persuading Kaik to invest here. He was just afraid that his son would be sad and disappointed, so he made an empty promise. Dad, then why don't you call Uncle Kaik? Chen Xiaolong couldn't wait. Okay, I'll call him now. Chen Jie secretly made up his mind in his heart. Even if I have to coax and pester him, I will make Kaik come. Chen Jie didn't want his son to hear him talk to Kaik in a low voice, so he stood up and walked to the inner room of the presidential suite. I'm going to make a call. You watch TV here first. Okay. With Chen Xiaolong's IQ, he naturally didn't think that his father was going to act like a grandson. He happily agreed, turned on the TV, and swept away his previous depression. Chen Jie glanced at his son lovingly, then turned and walked resolutely to the inner room. At this time, he forgot an important old saying, that is, a loving father and mother will spoil the child. He did this not for Chen Xiaolong's good, but to harm Chen Xiaolong. Of course, with Chen Jie's IQ, he didn't think of this. Chen Jie came to the inner room and didn't delay. He directly found the phone number that Kaik had left for him and dialed it. After a while, the phone was picked up, and Kaik's voice spoke in English. Hello, I'm Kaik. Boss, I'm Jie. Chen Jie. Chen Jie changed his previous calm and serious tone into a flattering voice. Fortunately, he always talked to Kaik like this before, so he didn't feel awkward. Oh. It's you, Chen Jie. Kaik also recognized Chen Jie's voice, so he spoke in Chinese. How have you been? AI, boss, after you left, I didn't have a good time. Chen Jie said with a bitter face. Boss, how have you been recently? Me? Not bad. Kaik's tone sounded very relaxed and happy, but it was no wonder. After Kaik returned home, he was undoubtedly appointed as the new family master. This made him, who was originally the second-in-line heir, feel like a pie falling from the sky. The so-called second-in-line heir sounded good. It seemed that if the first-in-line heir didn't succeed, it would be his turn. However, which first-in-line heir would take the initiative to abdicate? Even if there were, it was very rare. Therefore, Kaik didn't have any illusions about the family master's position at all, so he came to China to do business. Kaik was a family member and knew his own situation. The first-in-line heir in the family was much better than him in terms of background and ranking. His father was the current family master, and his grandfather was the family master of another super family in Europe. Therefore, there was no doubt that the first-in-line heir would become the family master sooner or later. But who knew that after a few years, the family master's position really fell on his head? The original first-in-line heir offended a ruthless person. Even the super family that his grandfather belonged to was destroyed overnight. The current family master was also afraid that the ruthless person would retaliate, so he took the initiative to abdicate the family master's position. Therefore, the family master's position fell on Kaik. Chapter 1627. All of this seemed like a dreamy drama, but it really happened to Kaik. Although Kaik was a little afraid of the ruthless person who killed the first successor of the family, he was afraid that the ruthless person would come to find trouble with his family in the future. However, he was grateful to the ruthless person in his heart. If it weren't for the ruthless person, how could he become the family master? However, Kaik could only bury all this in his heart. In the family, he had no friends. When he was a child, everyone went to curry favor with the first-in-line successor. Even the children who were not sensible were taught by their parents to play with the first-in-line successor and ignore the second-in-line successor. Therefore, Kaik spent his childhood in loneliness. He had no friends and no siblings. When he grew up, he left his hometown and came to China. He set up a company with the family's entrepreneurial fund. Just like the second and third successors of the other generations of the family, he left the family when he grew up and started a new life. Among these people, some were successful, and some were down. Of course, they could also go back and be an elder after succeeding the family master. Most of the downtrodden successors became elders, but those who could make a name for themselves would not go back. Originally, Kaik also thought that he would never return to the family in this life, but he did not expect that he would come back again. Moreover, he returned to the family as the new family master. Listening to the hypocritical flattery of the brothers and sisters in the family, Kaik felt that it was very fake. Although he was very satisfied with his vanity, he really lacked someone to talk to. Kaik naturally couldn't tell these people about the excitement of becoming the family master in his heart. Could he tell others that he was so grateful to the ruthless person who killed the first successor in front of him and made him the family master? He estimated that if he really said this, he would become a public enemy in the family and arouse the public anger of the family members. Just when Kaik was depressed and had nowhere to vent, Chenjia's call came in. Kaik still liked this former subordinate of his. Although Kaik also knew that Chenjia was somewhat flattering him, Chenjia was still a person who could talk to him. So, Kaik opened his mouth. Chen, do you know? I actually became the family master now. This feeling is really wonderful. It's much better than running the company myself. Is that so? That's great. Congratulations, boss. Chenjia flattered. He wanted to directly ask Kaik to invest in the construction of the hotel, but he couldn't bring himself to say it. He was also afraid that Kaik would refuse, so Chenjia could only chat with Kaik first. Yes, the entire family's resources are at my disposal. In the past, I wasn't the patriarch, so I couldn't experience the prestige of the patriarch. Our family's background is much stronger than I thought. We have many allies in both the business world and the political world. Kaik said, I have also become a member of the top society in Europe. This is something I didn't even dare to think about before. Actually, if I were to say anything about the first and second order, everyone is a member of the family. The position of the family head should be yours, boss. Said Chenjia. Huh, Chen, do you know how I became the family leader? It's amazing. Kaik said, do you know? The first successor of the family, the only son of the previous patriarch, had a grandfather who was the patriarch of a supergiant family here. With this identity, he went out to be tyrannical and unscrupulous. However, he was really lucky. He actually wanted to snatch the girlfriend of a more ruthless person. As a result, not only was his grandfather's family destroyed, but he was also finished. Even his father was afraid that the ruthless person would retaliate against the family, so he had to step down from the position of the patriarch. So, the position of the patriarch fell on my head. Don't you think this whole thing is amazing? Chenjia listened to Kaik's narration. This was the first time he knew how Kaik became the patriarch. If what he said was true, this matter was really amazing. Boss, this is really amazing. Chenjia sighed. However, who did the first successor offend? He is so badass that he can actually destroy a top family. This strength. This is a secret within the family, so it is inconvenient to reveal it. However, I can tell you that that person is not a local here, but here, he can still call the wind and summon the rain. Even the oldest super family here has a good relationship with him. When Kaik spoke of that ruthless person, he didn't dare to show the slightest disrespect, and carefully said. Then he is really a powerful person. Chenjia thought, I probably won't be able to come into contact with people on that level in my life. They are too far away. I can only fight with a small character like Yang Ming at most. Thinking of Yang Ming, Chenjia was so angry that his teeth itched. He wanted Kaik to give him an unforgettable lesson. Isn't he powerful? However, our family is considered to be very powerful in Europe. My first successor is still too young and unlucky. Haha. When Kaik said this, he couldn't help but laugh. I really want to thank that ruthless person. Without him, I wouldn't have been able to become the family master. It's just that my brother died a little miserably. I basically stepped on his corpse to get to the top. Hey, who cares about him? This kind of person who wants to snatch a woman with no strength is a pure idiot. He deserves to die. It's not a pity at all. Did you say that he didn't have any self-awareness? When he provoked that ruthless person, he didn't think about the consequences. When Chen Jie said this, he couldn't help but think of his son, Chen Xiaolong, and Yang Ming. He thought fiercely in his heart, Yang Ming, before you offended me in Chen Xiaolong, you didn't think about whether you could afford to offend us. I will let you see what a ruthless person is. That's right. The complexity of our European upper-class society is far beyond your imagination. Kaik said, okay, let's not talk about him. I just want to find someone to talk to, but there is no one to talk to. Chen, call me often in the future and let me relax. Of course, boss. I also want to call you often, but I'm afraid that I will disturb you. Chen Jie was overjoyed when he heard Kaik's words. It just so happened that he didn't want to break his relationship with Kaik. With such a powerful backer like Kaik, Chen Jie naturally wanted to maintain it. Especially after hearing that Kaik had become the family master, Chen Jie's mind became more active. If he could rely on Kaik in this life, he wouldn't have to worry about food and clothing for the rest of his life. When I called before, I was very uneasy. Hee, it's okay. You can call as much as you want. I only have you as a friend now. Kaik said with a smile, right, Chen, when you called before, you said that you weren't doing well now. What happened? Is there a problem with the company? There is no problem with the company. Everything is fine now, but... Chen Jie said until here. He paused and hesitated a little. Chen, what's going on? Could it be that something happened to your family? Is there anything I can help with? Kaik was not stupid. Chen Jie calling him at this time probably meant that he had encountered some trouble that he couldn't solve, so he asked for help from his former boss. However, Kaik was not disgusted. He had just taken up the position of the family master, and his self-esteem was inflated. He was worried that he couldn't show off his skills. Chen Jie happened to ask for help at this time. Kaik must let him see the power of the family master. Boss, you know me well. Chen Jie did not forget to compliment Kaik, and then said, it's like this, boss. You know that my wife ran away with someone else a long time ago, so I love my son very much. Originally, Chen Jie planned to make up a reason to let Kaik invest in Songjiang, but he was afraid that Kaik would no longer trust him after he saw through it. So after weighing the pros and cons, Chen Jie planned to tell the truth. If Kaik didn't agree, he would sacrifice his old face. He would say anything to persuade Kaik with snot and tears. Chen, continue. Don't worry. Speak slowly, Kaik said after listening to Chen Jie's words. Chapter 1628. When Chen Jie heard that Kaik did not show any disgust, he immediately breathed a sigh of relief and quickly continued, my son likes a female junior high school classmate. They were childhood sweethearts. They grew up in the same village. Originally, I brought my son back to my hometown to get engaged with his female classmate, but this female classmate has a man by her side. This man is also my son's classmate. He used to be a big bully in school, a big brawler. I don't know what despicable means he used to get this female classmate, and he also has a certain amount of influence in the local area. Oh, I understand. Someone took away your son's woman, right? Kaik understood Chen Jie's meaning. That's right, so I plan to teach that kid a lesson and turn him into a pauper. Then, that girl can return to my son's side, said Chen Jie. Teach? How to teach? Do you want me to help? Kaik was a little confused. Chen, I'm thousands of miles away. How can I help you? It's like this. This kid opened a hotel. It is the most high-end hotel in my hometown, but it can't be compared to the high-end hotels in the south. Of course, it can't be compared to your luxury hotels in Europe," said Chen Jie. "I think, boss, isn't your family in the hotel industry? You can invest in opening a hotel here. Whether it is service or price, it is better than that kid's hotel. Then, that kid's hotel will have no business, and it will naturally close down." "Oh, so that's the case." Kaik was not a reckless person. After listening to Chen Jie's words, he fell into deep thought. After a while, he said, "Chen, opening a hotel and suppressing a competitor to the point of bankruptcy requires a very complicated operation. It's not possible to achieve it just by opening a better hotel than him." This. Chen Jie's heart suddenly tightened after listening to Kaik's words. He naturally knew that his idea was a bit simple, but he had never run a hotel before. He had only done foreign trade. The foreign trade industry was like this. Whoever had an advantage in price would have a market. Whoever did not have an advantage in price could only wait to close down. He felt that the hotel industry should be similar to the foreign trade industry, but now it seemed that there were many other reasons. "But Chen, don't be discouraged." Kaik changed the topic and laughed. "If people who don't understand this industry enter this industry, don't talk about defeating the competitors. It is a big problem whether they can do it themselves. However, you found the right person this time. Our family started out in the hotel industry. In terms of management and competition in the hotel industry, we have accumulated hundreds of years of experience." "Ah." Chen Jie's depressed mood suddenly improved again. "Boss, does that mean you agree? Our family's hotel business has already existed in several first-tier cities in China, but we have no plans to invest in second-tier cities for the time being." Kaik said, "However, for you, Chen, I can invest in a hotel in your hometown this time." "Boss, you're so nice to me." Chen Jie was overjoyed after hearing this. It was as if he had gone from hell to heaven. "With your family backing him, his hotel will be finished." "Hee, don't be too happy too early. Although our family is very confident in managing the hotel, suppressing the opponent is a complicated and slow process. It won't be effective in a day or two," said Kaik. I understand. Chen Jie said quickly, "As long as there is hope." Now, Chen Jie just wanted to make Yang Ming anxious. In this way, he would have no time to accompany Chen Mengyan. At that time, Chen Xiaolong would take advantage of the situation, and the opportunity would be much greater. "Then I will leave in 2 days and bring the investigation team over personally," said Kaik. "That's great, boss. I will definitely pick you up." Chen Jie was so excited that he couldn't be more excited. The boss is so nice to me. Originally, he thought that Kaik would only agree to help him after crying and begging, but he didn't expect Kaik to be so straightforward. In fact, the reason why Kaik agreed so readily was that he wanted to show off in front of his former subordinate. Ever since he became the family master, he always wanted to show off in front of his friends. However, Kaik didn't have many friends since he was a child. His only friend might be Chen Jie. Although he couldn't be considered a friend, he was always someone to talk to, so he could only show off in front of Chen Jie. At the family meeting, Kaik proposed to invest in the construction of a super 5-star hotel in Songjiang City, China. Most of the family members felt that Kaik was a newly appointed official, so they didn't find it strange. Anyway, the family was committed to the development of the hotel industry. It didn't matter where they invested. Since the family master said that it would be in Songjiang, then it would be in Songjiang. These family members wanted to please Kaik, so there was no doubt that Kaik's proposal was unanimously approved in the family's elders' meeting. In their eyes, a hotel was just a few $100 million investment. Compared to the entire family, it was simply a drop in the bucket. So the day after Chen Jie's call, Kaik took the management team of the family hotel industry to Songjiang by plane to prepare for a field trip. Chen Jie took Chen Xiaolong and personally came to Donghai Airport to pick them up. "Boss." Chen Jie saw Kaik coming out of the exit at a glance. Although Donghai Airport was an international airport, there were not many foreigners coming out. So Kaik, who was white, was very eye-catching. The members of the investigation team behind him were also eye-catching. Among them, there was a person with black skin. Chen. Kaik also saw Chen Jia and quickened his pace. Xiaolong, quickly call Uncle Kaik. Chen Jia patted his son's shoulder and whispered to him. Uncle Kaik. Chen Xiaolong used to be a little upset when this foreigner, who was only a few years older than him, called him uncle. Today, he called him uncle with sincerity. Chen Xiaolong is here too. Kaik also knew Chen Xiaolong and nodded to him. Chen Jia led Kaik and the others into the car and drove to the Songjiang International Hotel. This city is developing well. Kaik looked at the street outside the car window and nodded. Originally, he thought that it would be a remote place. Although he would insist and his family would invest in a hotel here, it would not look good if it did not make money. Kaik was thinking about this problem along the way. As a result, when he arrived here, the construction here was not much worse than K City. It was more than enough to invest in a 5-star hotel. Yeah, Songjiang City can be regarded as a city at the forefront of construction in the province. Chen Jia explained, although it is not as prosperous as the provincial capital, the investment environment is also good. For example, there are several 5-star hotels in the provincial capital, Donghai. Although you can make money if you invest again, it is not as good as the monopoly here. So, the Songjiang International Hotel you are talking about now is a monopoly? Asked Kaik. Yes, the Songjiang International Hotel is now the best hotel here. Many rich people have no choice but to stay there. Said Chen Jia. Even I have to live in the enemy's territory. Boss, you can see how much of a monopoly it is. Oh. So, I chose the right place to invest here. Although Kaik wanted to help Chen Jia on the one hand, why not make money at the same time? That's right. Chen Jia nodded proudly. Boss, you will also stay at the Songjiang International Hotel in a while. I have booked a room for you there. When you see their decoration, you will know the gap between it and the world-class hotels. We are staying there too. That's great. We can take a look at their management and service. Kaik nodded happily. Chapter 1629. Kaik looked at the decoration of the Songjiang International Hotel and the quality of the waiters in front of him. He thought that it was not as bad as Chen Jia said. Although it was not a first-class 5-star hotel, there were at least 3-star hotels. Obviously, the overall structure of this international hotel was slightly old. It was an architectural style from 4 or 5 years ago. It could not keep up with the current development trends of the hotel industry. The decoration inside had obviously been renovated twice. The style was similar to the current popular luxury hotels. However, because of the limitations of the main building's floors and architectural pattern, the decoration could only take some remedial measures, but could not completely change the style of the building. It's not bad to have such a hotel in a second-tier city like Songjiang, Kaik said to Chen Jia in the elevator. This hotel didn't belong to that kid before. It belonged to a business friend of mine. I don't know why my friend went to prison when I came back this time. So, this hotel became that kid's property. Chen Jia was a little annoyed when he said this. That kid is a gangster. He probably used some despicable means. A hero's background is not important. Kaik smiled and said, to be able to own such a hotel in this place is quite amazing. However, compared to you, boss, it's far worse, Chen Jia said quickly. In fact, Kaik also had the same intention. He wanted to use such a hotel to highlight his noble status, but it was not good to say it himself, so he hinted Chen Jia to say it. He didn't expect Chen Jia to be so smart. This is not comparable. I am the power of the whole family, and he is the power of one person, Kaik said proudly. Boss, look, when should we start studying the hotel investment? Chen Jia was a little impatient about this. He wanted to give Yang Ming a blow first. As long as the news was released, he believed that Yang Ming would be worried. Building this hotel is a very long process. Shouldn't we hurry up? No. Kaik laughed and waved his hand. The latest modular construction technology can build a 15-story building in 2 days with a steel frame instead of cement. Are you serious? Chen Jie asked in disbelief. Kaik's words were beyond his imagination. How is it possible to build a tall building in 2 days? Chen, you're only good at foreign trade. Our family is an expert in hotel and construction. Kaik said proudly, we have adopted this modular building in many hotels in many countries and regions. This technology was invented by your engineers. It is more earthquake resistant than traditional concrete buildings. The indoor air is 20 to 100 times cleaner than the outdoor air. The walls and windows are completely insulated to ensure a constant temperature in the room. Chen Jie was shocked by Kaik's words. At the same time, he was extremely excited. If a grand hotel could be built within a few days, then Yang Ming's death would not be far away. Boss, is what you said true? That's great. What are we going to do next? Chen Jie asked excitedly. Now, let's contact the local government first and ask for a piece of land, Kaik said lightly, but Chen Jie did not think that Kaik was boasting at all. If an ordinary person wanted to build a hotel on a piece of land, it was naturally not very simple. The complicated procedures and relationships would be a headache. However, Kaik was different. Kaik's identity was a foreign businessman, and he was one of the top families in the world's hotel industry. It was also the glory of the city to invest in a hotel here. Which leader did not want their territory to be more prosperous? Kaik's family generally invested in first-tier cities with prosperous economies. This time, they could invest in Songjiang. It could be said that they had given Songjiang an affirmation. The local government would naturally welcome them. At present, Songjiang did not have a hotel that exceeded 3 stars. If Kaik could invest in a 5-star hotel, it could also improve the city's image. That was why Kaik was so confident. Leave this matter to me. I will be responsible for pulling the strings. Chen Jie said as he patted his chest. I can rest assured with you in charge, Kaik nodded and said. Yang Ming had transferred 90% of the shares in Ming Yang Entertainment and 40% of the shares in Ming Yang Security to Jing Xiaolu through a lawyer in the past few days. 10% of the shares in Ming Yang Entertainment and 60% of the shares in Ming Yang Security were transferred to Bao Sanli and Ho Junhan. It was not in vain for the two of them to follow him. Bao Sanli and Ho Junhan, who received the equity transfer letter, were somewhat inexplicable. They kept saying that they did not want it, but Yang Ming still insisted on giving it to them. Brother Yang, what do you mean by this? Did the two of us do something wrong? You don't want to use us anymore? Bao Sanli held the equity transfer letter, and his face was a little anxious. Yes, Brother Yang, I, Big Ho, have never been disloyal since the moment I started working with you. If I say a lie, I will be struck by lightning and die a horrible death. Ho Junhan also began to swear anxiously. Both of you, don't get too excited. Yang Ming was very moved by Bao Sanli and Ho Junhan's loyalty, but he smiled and said, in fact, giving you this is what you deserve. I also thank both of you for being able to work hard for me for so long. Brother Yang. Do you really not want us anymore? When Bao Sanli heard Yang Ming's words, he was stunned. His face showed a resentful look like a resentful woman. It's not that I don't want you, but... Yang Ming hesitated for a moment. He didn't want to tell them about himself so early, but since they asked, Yang Ming had no way to not say it. Otherwise, the two of them would probably pester him and never give up. Brother Yang, is there any other reason? Ho Junhan asked hesitantly. He was smarter than Bao Sanli. He heard something unusual from Yang Ming's words. Big Ho, Baozi, since you asked, then I won't hide it anymore. Yang Ming sighed and said, from the beginning, both of you felt that my identity wasn't just on the surface. After Bao Sanli listened to Yang Ming's words, he nodded and said, Brother Yang, I have always thought that you are a ruthless person. Bao Sanli initially attached himself to Yang Ming because Yang Ming's identity was the Mr. Y. After seeing Yang Ming himself, he always felt that Yang Ming's background was definitely not simple. Actually, I am a national agent. Yang Ming estimated that he could only use such words to describe his profession. Even if he was not a serious agent, he was not far from it. Agent? Brother Yang, are you serious? You are an agent? Bao Sanli and Ho Junhan were surprised at the same time. Ho Junhan was originally a special forces soldier, so he was quite impressed with the dangerous profession of the agent. In the beginning, the army also selected agents, but only the best special forces soldiers could be selected as agents to carry out some extremely dangerous and special tasks. If Ho Junhan had not made a disciplinary mistake, he might have become an agent. So when Ho Junhan heard this familiar word, he was suddenly shocked and speechless. Yang Ming nodded. Big Ho, you may know more about this profession. You are a special forces soldier. You should be able to see the authenticity of the army's ID. This is my ID in the army. You can take a look. As Yang Ming spoke, he took out his ID in the army and handed it to Ho Junhan. The agent's ID is confidential. I can't take it out. Don't mind it. Ho Junhan took Yang Ming's ID with trembling hands and nodded. I understand. Discipline is more important than anything. Brother Yang, we will not make it difficult for you. Originally, Bao Sanli was curious to see what the agent's ID looked like. After listening to Ho Junhan's words, he held back what he wanted to say. He didn't want to make it difficult for Yang Ming. Ho Junhan was a soldier. He took the ID and looked at it carefully. He immediately saw the authenticity of the ID. He nodded and handed it to Bao Sanli. Brother Yang, you are actually an agent. At first, I felt that I was wronging myself by doing these things with you. Although I got used to it later, it was also because you saved my mother. I am an upright person, and I vowed to follow you for the rest of my life. But today, I know that I am following the kind of person I admire the most, so I, Big Ho, have no regrets. Don't be so emotional. Yang Ming smiled and said, since you all know my identity, Big Ho can probably guess what I am going to say next. Chapter 1630. Brother Yang, are you going to perform a dangerous mission? Ho Junhan looked stunned. He immediately thought of something and asked. Yang Ming nodded. Yes. Is this mission very dangerous? Bao Sanli asked quickly after listening to Yang Ming's words. Although he was a rough person, he also understood why Yang Ming said those words before. Which agent's mission is not dangerous? Ho Junhan explained to Bao Sanli, the nature of an agent and a suicide squad is basically the same. Every mission may cost your life. This mission is indeed extremely dangerous. Until now, I still don't have the slightest bit of confidence. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and nodded. This mission is completely unknown, so it's hard to say whether I can come back. At present, it doesn't seem optimistic. Brother Yang, since it is so dangerous, why are you still going? Let someone else go. Bao Sanli said subconsciously. Baozi, how can you say that? As a soldier, you naturally have to stand up when the country needs you the most. What do you mean by not going if it is dangerous? Why ask someone else to go? Ho Junhan listened to Bao Sanli's words and looked at him with some contempt. He immediately corrected him. Why are you so selfish? What do you mean by selfish? Bao Sanli was immediately unhappy. Don't talk to me about sacrificing myself for the greater good. I am just a small citizen. I don't want anything to happen to Brother Yang. What's wrong? Big Ho, you are smarter than me. You are better at business than me, but in this matter, no matter what, I have this idea. Okay. Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded and waved his hand. You two don't quarrel. Big Ho and Baozi, you are not wrong from your own point of view. Big Ho is starting from the big interests, and Baozi, you are also doing it for my good. I understand these, but whether I go or not is my decision. Who can make the decision between the two of you? When Yang Ming's words came out, Bao Sanli and Ho Junhan both lowered their heads like two children who did something wrong. Yes, both of them were Yang Ming's men. How could they dare to interfere with Yang Ming's decision? Brother Yang, we are wrong. Bao Sanli and Ho Junhan said carefully at the same time. I said, both of you are not wrong. Yang Ming said with a smile, I have to go for this mission, so before I leave, I have to settle the things at home. But the shares. Bao Sanli still couldn't understand. If I can't come back, what is the use of these shares? Yang Ming said, how about this? These shares will be deposited with you first. If I come back, you can return the shares to me. If I can't come back, these shares can only be given to you. Yang. Bao Sanli wondered why Yang Ming only gave the company's shares to himself, Big Ho, and Jing Xiaolu, but not to others. For them, I left other shares for them. That is enough. Yang Ming said, this company was founded by you and Big Ho. As for Xiaolu's share, you won't have any thoughts about it, right? Of course not. Bao Sanli quickly waved his hand. Brother Yang, I was just about to say that you can give Big Ho and my shares to Xiaolu. We really can't take it. Are you representing Big Ho? Yang Ming glanced at Bao Sanli and asked with a smile. This. Bao Sanli was suddenly embarrassed. Brother Yang, I also mean this. Ho Junhan listened and said quickly. Well, I don't care what you two mean, but the current share distribution is my idea. Yang Ming suddenly put away his smile and said seriously, can you two understand? This is my decision. This. Yes. Bao Sanli just wanted to say something, but when he saw Yang Ming's serious expression, he didn't dare to say more and quickly said yes. Ho Junhan, on the other hand, was much more capable. He more or less had the style of the army. After listening to Yang Ming's words, he immediately said yes. For this matter, you two will know about it, but don't tell anyone about it. Yang Ming glanced at the two of them and instructed. Don't worry, Brother Yang. We won't talk about it. Bao Sanli and Ho Junhan quickly agreed. Yang Ming nodded. He still trusted Bao Sanli and Ho Junhan. These two people would not make any trouble for him. Hearing that Yang Ming insisted on giving the shares to them, Bao Sanli and Ho Junhan no longer insisted. Anyway, Yang Ming also said that if he came back, the shares would be left with them. They would return them to Yang Ming. If. It was just if Yang Ming really couldn't come back, then Bao Sanli and Ho Junhan decided to leave the shares to Yang Ming's family. The two of them looked at each other and read each other's thoughts from each other's eyes. What Yang Ming gave them was enough. With their current status in Songjiang, even if they were poor, it was easy for them to create a career. It was not difficult at all. Brother Yang, can you tell me about the dangerous missions you have carried out? Ho Junhan hesitated, but he still asked. Yang Ming's career was once his dream. Although he couldn't do it, it was very enjoyable to hear about Yang Ming's deeds. Yang Ming was stunned. Dangerous missions? Speaking of missions, I don't seem to have carried out anything, except for the time with Elder Yu. Seeing that Yang Ming didn't speak, Ho Junhan thought that Yang Ming wanted to keep it a secret, so he couldn't simply say it, so he smiled apologetically. Brother Yang, I'm sorry. I forgot the confidentiality discipline. Just pretend that I didn't ask. It's nothing. Yang Ming shook his head. Since you want to hear it, then I will tell you. Just don't spread it out. Yang Ming planned to tell Bao Sanli and Ho Junhan about Chen Afu's incident. Brother Yang, don't you know about our mouths? We will never say anything that shouldn't be said. Bao Sanli patted his chest and promised. You should be thankful if you don't tell Jing Xiaolu. Yang Ming glared at him angrily. What I told Xiaolu was something unimportant. I know about serious things. Bao Sanli was a little embarrassed. I'm just joking with you. We brothers haven't gathered for a long time. Baozi, you call the kitchen and ask them to send some wine and food to the room. Let's have a good drink, said Yang Ming. Okay. Bao Sanli picked up the phone after listening and called the kitchen. They were in the private room of the International Hotel, so it was convenient to ask for something to eat. The food was quickly served. Bao Sanli personally called, so the lobby manager didn't hurry to prepare it. Manager Lu knew that the three giants, Yang Ming, Bao Sanli, and Ho Zhenhan, gathered here today and personally delivered the food. As he walked to the door, he saw the security captain, Xiao Zhang, running over. Captain Zhang, what are you going to do? Manager Lu was also a lot more polite to little Zhang. Both of them were now middle-level managers of the hotel. Although there was no direct relationship, Manager Lu's words still carried some weight. However, Manager Lu knew that little Zhang and Yang Ming's driver, Wang Lin, had a good relationship, so he was also a bit more polite to him. I have something to do. I need to find Brother Yang. Xiao Zhang said, President Lu, is Brother Yang in the room? Yes, but he is talking to President Bao, President Ho. You see, is your matter? Manager Lu said with some difficulty. Chapter 1631. My matter is also very urgent. Xiao Zhang said, President Lu, are you sending food to Brother Yang? Do you want me to go in with you? Xiao Zhang saw the dining cart in Manager Lu's hand, so he asked. This, all right. Manager Lu thought, I don't need to offend Xiao Zhang because of this. It's better to let him go in. Anyway, if Brother Yang asks, I can say that he insisted on coming in. It has nothing to do with me. I'm the lobby manager, and I can't control the head of the security captain. The two sides are basically equal. If Xiao Zhang insists on coming in, can I stop him? What's more, if we really fight, I'm not the opponent of the security captain. Manager Lu knocked on the door, and Bao Sanli's voice came from the room, please come in. Manager Lu carefully opened the door and pushed the dining cart in. Captain Xiao Zhang followed closely behind. Brother Yang, President Bao, President Ho, the wine and dishes are ready. Where do you think they should be placed? Manager Lu was also a discerning person. Since he knew the true identity of Yang Ming, he always put Yang Ming in front. He also noticed that Yang Ming didn't seem to like others to call him Chairman Yang, so he followed Bao Sanli and Ho Zhenhan to call him Brother Yang. No need to do it. We can place it ourselves. Bao Sanli nodded and said to Manager Lu. When he looked up, he saw Captain Xiao Zhang, so he asked, Xiao Zhang, why are you here? What's the matter? President Bao, I'm looking for Brother Yang to report to him. Xiao Zhang hesitated and said. Oh. You're looking for Brother Yang to report to him? Bao Sanli was slightly stunned after listening to Xiao Zhang's words. What do you want to report to Brother Yang? Xiao Zhang was embarrassed by Bao Sanli's question. He stood there with a red face. Okay, Xiao Zhang, what's the matter? Just say it. Yang Ming saw that Bao Sanli's unintentional words made Xiao Zhang embarrassed, so he waved his hand to help him out. Yes. When little Zhang heard Yang Ming's words, it was as if he had been granted amnesty. He immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Brother Yang, it's like this. Since you came that day, I have been sending people to monitor Chenjia's movements. Oh. How thoughtful of you. Yang Ming was a little surprised after hearing this. He didn't expect little Zhang to be such a thoughtful person. He probably noticed the conflict between Yang Ming and Chenjia, so he paid attention to some of Chenjia's actions and reported it to Yang Ming. Of course, Yang Ming was very clear about little Zhang's intention to take credit. However, Yang Ming didn't care. A boss wasn't afraid of his subordinates coming to him to take credit. What he was most afraid of was not doing anything all day long. Hearing Yang Ming's praise, Xiao Zhang immediately said with a face full of smiles, I just happen to have this convenient condition. Naturally, I have to share Brother Yang's burden. You continue. What's wrong with Chen Jia? Yang Ming nodded and asked. Chen Jia picked up a foreigner today and booked a room for the foreigner. It's also in our hotel, said Xiao Zhang. Foreigner? Yang Ming frowned. Why did Chen Jia find a foreigner? Is it a coincidence, or does this guy have any bad intentions? When Yang Ming left his room before, he saw the unwillingness and hatred in his eyes. Yang Ming thought that he wouldn't give up so easily. Yes, and after they came to the hotel, they began to comment on the hotel's decoration and other facilities. I don't know what they want to do, said Xiao Zhang. I think this situation is a bit suspicious, so I quickly came to report it to you. You did a good job. Yang Ming praised Xiao Zhang. Although Yang Ming still didn't understand what tricks Chen Jia wanted to play. It's what I should do. Xiao Zhang said with a smile, Brother Yang, President Bao, President Ho, then I'll go down first. If there's anything, I can report it at any time, right? Don't you have my phone number? If there's any news, just call me directly, said Yang Ming. Okay, Brother Yang, I got it. Xiao Zhang naturally had Yang Ming's phone number, but he didn't dare to call without Yang Ming's permission. Now that he had Yang Ming's permission, Xiao Zhang naturally agreed. After Xiao Zhang and manager Lu went down, Bao Sanli asked with some doubts, Brother Yang, do you have a grudge with that guy surnamed Chen? Grudge? Not really. It's just this guy's wishful thinking. He kept pestering me. Yang Ming shook his head and said faintly. Do you want me to take someone to warn him? Bao Sanli was annoyed when he heard that this guy actually dared to pester Yang Ming. That's not necessary. Yang Ming waved his hand and refused, he knows Uncle Chen. It's not good to use those tricks, but I don't think this guy can do anything. Since Xiao Zhang is watching, it's nothing. He's just a clown. Don't worry about him. Well, then let him go first. If this kid dares to be dishonest, I will play with him. Bao Sanli said fiercely. Ho Zhenhan set up the wine and dishes and poured wine for Yang Ming and Bao Sanli. Then he sat aside, Brother Yang, let me toast you. There were few opportunities for Yang Ming, Bao Sanli, and Yang Ming to drink together. Yang Ming hadn't had such a hearty drink for a long time. When he met Sun Quan before, Sun Quan had to drive in the afternoon, so naturally, they couldn't drink. Yang Ming hadn't drunk with his friends for a long time. Brother Yang, I have known you longer than Monkey. Let's drink first. Bao Sanli also raised his glass and blocked in front of Ho Zhenhan. Ho Zhenhan couldn't help but smile. He wasn't angry, but he smiled with some contempt. It can't be counted like that. It depends on who has followed Brother Yang the longest. Nonsense. I felt that Brother Yang was a character in the detention center, so I started to follow Brother Yang. Bao Sanli said shamelessly. Ho Zhenhan looked at Bao Sanli, who was like a child, and was speechless. Well, don't argue. Both of you. Yang Ming raised his glass helplessly. Let's drink together. Okay. Bao Sanli and Ho Zhenhan had nothing to say this time. They raised their glasses and drank the wine in one gulp. After drinking a glass of wine, Bao Sanli had more to say. Brother Yang, you are an agent. How did you enter the detention center? Agents have to go to prison even if they break the law. Yang Ming listened to Bao Sanli's words and suddenly said, I did that to Jian. Naturally, I would go in. When it comes to Jian, sister-in-law is affectionate and righteous. She originally wanted to sue Brother Yang, but she became Brother Yang's girlfriend. When Bao Sanli heard Yang Ming mention Lin Jian, he suddenly laughed. Don't talk nonsense. I actually knew her before, but she didn't know it was me. Yang Ming waved his hand. Well, this matter is over. Don't mention it again in the future. Time flies. In a blink of an eye, more than a year has passed. Listening to Yang Ming's sigh, Bao Sanli and Ho Junhan couldn't help but be moved. However, Ho Junhan's expression was a bit weird. He raised his wine glass and said to Bao Sanli, Baozi, speaking of which, both of us and brother Yang are acquainted with sister-in-law Jian. It seems that sister-in-law Jian is the matchmaker between us and brother Yang. As Ho Junhan said this, he couldn't help but blush. I didn't expect to rob Jian. I feel a little ashamed when I think about it. Huh, monkey, you are right. It seems that we really have to thank Jian for what we have today. Bao Sanli also nodded and agreed. You two don't have to thank me. After I leave, you can take care of them more. Don't let others bully them. That is enough. Yang Ming sighed and said. Brother Yang, how can you say this? Bao Sanli was immediately anxious. Brother Yang, you can rest assured. Your family's matter is monkey's and my matter. If he dares to complain, I will kill him first. Don't look at his special forces background. I will shoot his head open. Bao Sanli, what nonsense are you talking about? Ho Junhan glared at Bao Sanli and said, how can I complain? I also want to say that if you dare to forget brother Yang's order, I will be the first to not spare you. You too, why do you fight every day like children? Facing the actions of Bao Sanli and Ho Junhan, Yang Ming was somewhat speechless. Hee hee. Bao Sanli and Ho Junhan stopped arguing awkwardly. They laughed twice and looked at Yang Ming with flattery. Chapter 1632. Yang Ming told Ho Junhan and Bao Sanli about his grievances with Elder Yu and Chen Afu. This was not a secret. At that time, this case caused a sensation in Songjiang. However, both Bao Sanli and Ho Junhan were outsiders. They were just ordinary people. When they heard the rumors about the hospital being haunted, they felt that it was scary. They didn't know whether it was true or not. Later, they heard that the person who pretended to be a ghost was caught. They didn't know how he was caught, but they didn't expect Yang Ming to be involved in the whole thing. The two couldn't help but be amazed. Brother Yang, it turns out that you and Elder Yu have a grudge for a long time. This time, you are also targeting him. You have to go. Bao Sanli heard about the grievances between Yang Ming and Elder Yu. At this time, he understood why Yang Ming wanted to go for this mission even though he knew that it was dangerous. It's good that you can figure it out. Yang Ming nodded. This matter has to be settled sooner or later. It will be like this sooner or later. Once Elder Yu's evil cultivation is completed, he will definitely come to me for revenge. So, although I don't have full confidence when I go at this time, at least I will be representing the officials. Whether it is the convenience of the conditions or the accompanying personnel, it is better than me going alone. Brother Yang, I won't say more. Be careful. Bao Sanli raised his glass and said. Be careful. Ho Junhan also said at the same time. Yang Ming nodded. He picked up his glass and clinked it with the two. A big news suddenly appeared in Songjiang in the past few days. That was, the Douglas family, a big family committed to the development of the international hotel industry, wanted to invest in building a 5-star hotel in Songjiang City. This level of foreign investment naturally attracted the attention and personal reception of the provincial and municipal leaders. All procedures were simple and all green lights were given to ensure the smooth progress of investment. The location of the hotel was actually directly opposite the Songjiang International Hotel, the original 5-star plaza. This 5-star plaza was originally a park-like place for the public to rest and entertain. However, as this area became a commercial area, there were few residential areas. This 5-star plaza also lost its original role. It was often empty. Although it was not strange to build a 5-star hotel in a 5-star plaza, the key problem was that the Songjiang International Hotel was directly opposite the 5-star plaza. The Douglas family actually built a 5-star hotel here. Building a second hotel in such a close place was originally opposed by some experts, but the representative of the Douglas family insisted on building the hotel here. And finally, they had to agree to the request of the Douglas family's representative. After all, the Douglas family was the Douglas family. As soon as this news came out, the entire Songjiang shopping mall was in an uproar. Most people knew the background of the Songjiang International Hotel and who Bao Sanli was. The Douglas family built the hotel here. Wasn't it obvious that they were targeting the Songjiang International Hotel? However, most people looked at this matter with the attitude of watching a show. Although Bao Sanli had a strong background in Songjiang, the Douglas family was a foreign businessman and an international hotel industry giant. It could be said that they could even talk to the provincial leaders. In this case, would Bao Sanli still dare to touch them? Of course, more people also saw that the people of the Douglas family seemed to be targeting Bao Sanli. Building a 5-star hotel opposite a 3-star hotel, what was this if not targeting? After the hotel was built, could Bao Sanli's hotel still have business? In fact, the people who came to the Songjiang International Hotel to spend in the past were all rich people. They did not lack money at all. What they wanted was a decent and comfortable environment for spending. This time, there was a better choice. How many guests would stay in the Songjiang International Hotel in a 5-star hotel? Local businessmen might be afraid of Bao Sanli's influence and would go to the Songjiang International Hotel to support Bao Sanli's business, but most of the people who stayed in such a luxury hotel were foreigners. How many people knew about Bao Sanli? Why would they care so much? When everyone knew about this news, Bao Sanli naturally knew about it too. There was no need to investigate this matter at all. He could find out that the so-called people of the Douglas family were found by Chen Jie. They were the foreigners who used to stay in his hotel. However, Bao Sanli also knew the weight of this matter. He did not dare to make a decision on his own. He quickly called Yang Ming and asked, "Brother Yang, what about the Douglas Hotel?" "What Douglas Hotel?" Yang Ming was stunned and asked inexplicably. "Brother Yang, you don't know?" Bao Sanli was also stunned. He did not expect Yang Ming to answer like this. "What do I know? What happened? What happened?" Yang Ming immediately realized that maybe something big had happened recently, but he did not know about it. It was no wonder. Yang Ming had been accompanying Chen Mengyan and his family recently. He was not in the mood to watch any local news. Naturally, he did not know about the Douglas Hotel. The foreigner around Chen Jie wants to invest in building a hotel in Songjiang. "Do you know about this?" Bao Sanli said in detail. "I know about this. Little Zhang told me about it." Yang Ming said, "But what does this have to do with us?" When little Zhang called and said that the foreigner around Chen Jie was from a foreign family and wanted to build a hotel in Songjiang, Yang Ming did not care much. He thought that the other party was only here to invest and was just a friend of Chen Jie. It had nothing to do with him directly. But now that he heard Bao Sanli's words, it seemed that there was something else going on. "Brother Yang, the news has come out. The foreigner wants to build a 5-star hotel in 5-star Plaza. Isn't this stealing our business?" Bao Sanli said, "This matter has been reported on the news. Didn't you watch TV?" "No." Yang Ming said awkwardly, "I haven't watched TV recently." "Brother Yang, what do you think we should do now?" Bao Sanli said bitterly. "Now it is obvious that Chen Jie found the foreigner to target us." "Target us?" Yang Ming was very open-minded. "Opening a hotel is targeting us? Don't worry about him first. Let him be. This. Brother Yang, if we let him build a hotel, it will definitely affect our business." Bao Sanli did not expect Yang Ming's reaction to be so calm. He immediately became anxious. "Let's wait and see first." Yang Ming smiled and comforted Bao Sanli. "Now, we really can't take any measures. The other party wants to build a hotel. Others don't object. Why should we object? Because it will affect our business? We are not a monopoly. It is unwise to jump out at this time. But when they build the hotel, everything will be too late. Bao Sanli said anxiously. That's not necessarily true. The hotel industry is not our main business. Yang Ming didn't care. Chen Jie is also influential enough to build a 5-star hotel in a second-class city. Even if this hotel is opened, it will definitely not be able to recover the investment in a short time. Let them be. Then, okay. Bao Sanli heard Yang Ming say so and had no choice. He could only listen to Yang Ming and let them be. At first, Kaik was still somewhat wary of Bao Sanli. After all, he heard that Bao Sanli was the local tyrant here. If he opened a hotel opposite Bao Sanli's territory, wouldn't that be equivalent to slapping his face? However, Kaik was not afraid of Bao Sanli dealing with him openly. He was a foreign businessman, which was quite superior. With just a phone call, there would be people supporting him. He was afraid that Bao Sanli would secretly trip him up, and he wouldn't be able to get a handle on it. However, since the news was released, Bao Sanli maintained a silent attitude. For a few days, there was no action, which made Kaik completely relieved. Chapter 1633. Boss, I told you that the kid and the so-called Song Jiang boss are just for show. Look, your hotel has started construction, but they still don't dare to let out a fart. Chen Jie raised his glass and said proudly to Kaik, they can only scare these ignorant local entrepreneurs of Song Jiang. And, this is not bad. Kaik nodded and said proudly, I am a foreign businessman. I will be treated with courtesy and preferential treatment wherever I go, especially in a country of etiquette like yours. You will not lose face in front of a foreign friend like me. It seems that Yang Ming can only suffer in silence. Chen Jie laughed. Yang Ming? Kaik was slightly stunned after hearing the name. This was the first time Chen Jie mentioned Yang Ming's name in front of him. Why does this name sound familiar? I seem to have heard it somewhere. It's the little brat who stole my son's woman. Chen Jie smiled and said, is it familiar? Maybe I have told you before. Maybe? Kaik nodded and didn't care anymore. Has he done anything in the past few days? What else can he do? Didn't I say it before? They haven't done anything. They are all listless. Chen Jie said, Boss, according to the current construction speed, our hotel can open the day after tomorrow, right? The day after tomorrow is a little rushed. We still have to prepare. Kaik nodded after listening to Chen Jie's words, but I will ask people to prepare overnight. It should be about time. That's great. At that time, you will establish your position as the boss of Song Jiang's hotel industry in one fell swoop, and Yang Ming's hotel will become deserted. Chen Jie said excitedly. Yang Ming had been paying attention to Chen Jie's little tricks since he received Bao Sanli's call last time. However, Yang Ming did not respond. Business competition was inevitable. The other party built a hotel in the 5-star plaza, which was somewhat against him, but the other party did not find fault with him. Yang Ming was not an overbearing person. He would only fight back when the other party was unreasonable and took the initiative to provoke him. The special ability was a gift from God, but he could not rely on it to be his overbearing life. It was just a matter of seconds for Yang Ming to finish Chen Jie. Even if Yang Ming created an accident and killed Chen Jie, no one would say anything. Xia Bingbao would solve all the subsequent troubles. But this name is a bit familiar. Yang Ming looked at the news on TV. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. He repeated the name with some contempt. DD. The sound of a text message rang. Yang Ming turned off the TV and took the phone. It was a message from Jing Xiaolu. Are you free this Friday night? Friday night? Yang Ming thought about it. He had been going back to his parents' house for dinner these past few Friday nights, but it was not necessary to eat at home. It did not matter if he went back a little later. So, he replied, what's the matter? I have a class reunion. I told you before. Jing Xiaolu quickly replied with a text message. Seeing Jing Xiaolu's text message, Yang Ming remembered that when he was in the butterfly family in Europe, he did talk to Jing Xiaolu. Jing Xiaolu mentioned a class reunion. He promised her that he would accompany her if he had time. Okay, I will accompany you then. Yang Ming replied with a text message. Thinking that he did not have much time left, Yang Ming felt that he should try to satisfy Jing Xiaolu's wishes as much as possible. He did not want her to have any regrets. How is it, Xiaolu? What did Brother Yang say? Gu Xinyao was entrusted by Bai Hai to let Jing Xiaolu take Yang Ming with her, so Gu Xinyao paid special attention to this matter. Yang Ming promised me that he would accompany me. Jing Xiaolu looked at the latest text message from Yang Ming and happily made a victory gesture. I found that he has been treating me better and better recently. Then, congratulations, Xiaolu. Gu Xinyao was also sincerely happy for Jing Xiaolu. It was really not easy for Jing Xiaolu to find such a good home. Hee hee. Jing Xiaolu giggled happily. Looking at the overjoyed Jing Xiaolu, Gu Xinyao shook her head. Last night, she carefully interrogated Jing Xiaolu. In the end, she found out that the relationship between Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu was limited to the level of holding hands. They didn't even kiss. However, Yang Ming gave more than half of the Ming Yang Company's assets to Jing Xiaolu. This made Gu Xinyao a little confused. She felt a little inexplicable. Did Yang Ming eat the wrong medicine? I didn't see how much Yang Ming liked Jing Xiaolu before. Yang Ming was even a little disgusted with Jing Xiaolu before. After a period of time, he had a good impression of Jing Xiaolu. Why did he seem to like her so much now? If the two had that kind of relationship, it was possible to say that Yang Ming was infatuated with Jing Xiaolu and gave her the company's assets, but now. However, in any case, Yang Ming was good to Jing Xiaolu. As a sister, Gu Xinyao was very happy. She couldn't understand the details of this, so she didn't think about it. In short, it was good for Jing Xiaolu. In retrospect, Yang Ming introduced a job for Jing Xiaolu, gave Jing Xiaolu a car, stood up for Jing Xiaolu at the company meeting, promoted her to vice president, and gave the company shares today. This step by step seemed to be gradual. If one thought about it carefully, it was not surprising. In any case, Yang Ming was good to Jing Xiaolu. With Yang Ming's identity, if he didn't like Jing Xiaolu, he wouldn't have the time to play any conspiracy with Jing Xiaolu. Therefore, Gu Xinyao was not very worried. In the blink of an eye, Friday arrived. Today was the day of Jing Xiaolu's classmate reunion. It was also the day of the opening of the Songjiang Douglas Vast Hotel. The Douglas Vast Hotel had 36 floors. It could be said to be the tallest building in Songjiang. There was no building exceeding this height in Songjiang, so the news of the Douglas Vast Hotel's opening attracted many media reports. Even the citizens of Songjiang went to the opening ceremony to join in the fun. It was said that there were even souvenirs. At the opening ceremony, Kaik stood on the rostrum in a suit. Chen Jia and Chen Xiaolong followed Kaik with smiles on their faces. Many provincial and municipal leaders attended the opening ribbon-cutting ceremony of the hotel. Although they only showed their faces for a moment during the ribbon-cutting ceremony, it was enough to show the importance they attached to the Douglas Vast Hotel. Seeing that Kaik's political background was so powerful, many big bosses in Songjiang City also took advantage of the situation and participated in the opening ceremony of the Douglas Vast Hotel. In the eyes of these people, no matter how powerful Bao Sanli was, it was only in the dark. However, Kaik's background was really strong. With the support of the provincial and municipal leaders, it was difficult not to develop in Songjiang. Our Douglas family's oath is to make the best hotel and provide the best service. Kaik gave a speech at the opening ceremony with a smile on his face. Chapter 1634. Our Douglas family has invested in many 5-star hotels all over the world. There are first-class hotels in many cities, so we are also confident that the Douglas Vast Hotel in Songjiang will become the #1 hotel in the Songjiang hotel industry. Kaik's fluent Chinese made the reporters and audience present praise him. He had unknowingly won the favor of the people present. No one was disgusted by his boasting. Think about it, a foreigner speaking the native language fluently would more or less give people a sense of intimacy, making people involuntarily give him more impressions. Kaik also followed suit. After announcing the official opening of the hotel, he invited the famous rock band, Chopping Wood in the Mountain, to give a wonderful performance to everyone present. Originally, according to Chen Jia's suggestion, Kaik wanted to invite the Chinese heavenly queen, Shuya. The rich Kaik did not lack money at all. Shuya also showed a strong interest in coming to Songjiang to participate in business activities. However, because Shuya's schedule was not available, this matter could only be dropped. So he settled for the next best thing and invited the group, Chopping Wood in the Mountain. Boss, it seems that the opening ceremony this time was done well. The social response is also quite good. Chen Jia said happily as he watched the video and comments of the opening ceremony on the internet with his mobile phone. Hee, it seems that my fluent Chinese has won a lot of impression points. Fortunately, I didn't use English in the beginning. Kaik was also very happy. This hotel was not only helping Chen Jia, but also his first achievement after becoming the family master. After a while, when the cost level of our hotel is announced, I'm afraid it will make the people present even more uproar. Chen Jia was looking forward to this moment. He was looking forward to seeing how ugly Yang Ming's face would be after seeing this news. You want to fight with me? Humph, you are still too inexperienced. Don't think that opening a hotel is great. In my eyes, you are nothing. Chen Jia sneered in his heart. The Douglas Vast Hotel's room price was the same as the Songjiang International Hotel's room price, but the overall price was 20% off during the opening ceremony. The cost level of the catering department on the first floor was also customized according to the International Hotel, but it also enjoyed a 20% discount. Moreover, the chef of the Douglas Vast Hotel was an international gourmet from Europe. In this era where foreign monks were good at chanting scriptures, the signboard of a top European chef was enough to attract more customers to the Douglas Vast Hotel. There were still a series of promotional activities waiting for them. If the Songjiang International Hotel also reduced its price, or imitated the Douglas Vast Hotel and invited a foreign chef, then Kaik still had a lot of backup plans. After all, Kaik's family, the Douglas family, was a family that focused on the development of the hotel industry. They were very good at managing hotels and had perfect countermeasures to deal with competitors. It was effortless to use them here. Chen Jia felt that it was a wise decision to find Kaik to open this hotel. He could suppress Yang Ming in terms of social relations, business methods, and strong funds. Didn't Yang Ming just have a father-in-law who is a police chief? What was the use? The provincial leaders had already voiced their support for Kaik. How could Chen Fei have a different voice? In fact, although Chen Fei was a little dissatisfied with the fact that Chen Jia lured Kaik to open another hotel opposite Yang Ming's hotel, Chen Fei didn't say anything. However, Chen Fei didn't say much. After all, this was a matter of business competition. It wasn't appropriate for him to intervene. Moreover, Chen Fei also felt that with Yang Ming's current identity, he didn't need to speak at all. As long as Yang Ming was willing, he could find an excuse to blow up Kaik's hotel. Someone would come to clean up Yang Ming's mess, and Kaik could only admit that he was unlucky. Or even more sinister, Yang Ming could find an excuse to arrest Kaik as a spy. However, Yang Ming didn't do this, which Chen Fei appreciated very much. Chen Fei was an upright person. He didn't want Yang Ming to use power for his own benefit. In fact, Yang Ming hadn't reacted yet because Kaik's approach had not touched Yang Ming's bottom line. It was rare for Yang Ming to be idle for a while. He didn't want to pay attention to these messy things, so he let Kaik do whatever he wanted. At 5:00 in the evening, Yang Ming arrived at Jing Xiaolu's dormitory on time. Because Jing Xiaolu had a car, Yang Ming didn't drive. When Yang Ming was about to send a text message to Jing Xiaolu, a Volkswagen Magotan parked downstairs honked twice. Then, a person jumped out of the car and ran to Yang Ming, "Brother Yang." Yang Ming looked up and saw that it was Bai Hai. He remembered that Gu Xinyao and Jing Xiaolu were high school classmates. Jing Xiaolu attended the class reunion, so Gu Xinyao had no reason not to go. It was reasonable for Bai Hai to pick up Gu Xinyao. "Brother Yang, are you here to pick up Sister Xiaolu?" Bai Hai made an invitation in a flattering manner. "Brother Yang, can you sit in my car for a while and wait for them?" Puff, cough, cough. Yang Ming was stunned by Bai Hai's words, then he laughed and coughed. "What do you call Xiaolu?" "Ugh. I call her Sister Xiaolu," Bai Hai said awkwardly. "How old are you?" "How old is Xiaolu?" Yang Ming smiled bitterly and touched his chin. "Can you not be so funny? Sister Xiaolu? Didn't you always call her Xiaolu?" "This, age doesn't matter. Ability comes first." Bai Hai quickly explained, "Just like everyone calls you Brother Yang, even Brother Bao calls you Brother Yang, then what is Jing Xiaolu capable of?" Yang Ming asked with a smile. "That, she was originally the vice president of the company, and now she is the chairman. Naturally, she is more powerful than me," Bai Hai explained. "N?" Yang Ming thought about it. It was indeed the case. Bai Hai was right. Jing Xiaolu was indeed very powerful, but he had not changed this role in his eyes. That is also a bit awkward. Why don't you call her Xiaolu? Just call her President Jing. That is a bit unorthodox. Brother Yang, why don't I call her sister-in-law Xiaolu? Bai Hai asked flatteringly. Do whatever you want. Yang Ming shook his head helplessly and agreed. All right, I will call her sister-in-law Xiaolu in the future. Bai Hai quickly confirmed it. In his opinion, this title was more intimate than Sister Xiaolu. This could show his extraordinary status and close relationship with Yang Ming. Although Bai Hai knew that Yang Ming gave out the company's shares, Jing Xiaolu took the majority while Bao Sanli and Hou Zhenhan took the minority. Bai Hai was very clear that Yang Ming was still the behind-the-scenes boss. Whether it was Jing Xiaolu, Bao Sanli, or Hou Zhenhan, they all followed Yang Ming's lead. Yang Ming sent a text message to Jing Xiaolu, telling her that he had arrived at her dormitory. It didn't take long for Jing Xiaolu and Gu Xinyao to come out of the dormitory building. Bai Hai looked at it with envy. Brother Yang, you still have face. I asked them to wait downstairs, but they didn't come down. Brother Yang, they came downstairs with just a text message from you. Bai Hai, what are you talking about? Are you itching for a beating? Gu Xinyao glared at Bai Hai and snorted. I was just saying it casually. Bai Hai quickly admitted his mistake. Now Bai Hai and Gu Xinyao's positions were completely reversed. Gu Xinyao was quite strong, and Bai Hai was tolerating Gu Xinyao with a smile. It couldn't be helped. Who made Gu Xinyao and Jing Xiaolu be good sisters? Xiaolu, where's your car? Are you driving your car, or are we going to take Bai Hai's car? Yang Ming glanced at Jing Xiaolu and asked. Ah, you didn't drive. Jing Xiaolu looked around and didn't see Yang Ming's car. She was a little disappointed. She and Gu Xinyao had planned that she would drive a BMW, Yang Ming would drive another, and Bai Hai would drive a magenta. The three cars would stop at the entrance of the resort, and it would be as cool as it could be. However, Yang Ming didn't drive a car, so she could only drive her own. Jing Xiaolu naturally wouldn't agree to sit in a car with Gu Xinyao, so she quickly said, Sister Xinyao and her husband are still being sweet. How can we disturb them? Let's drive my car. Yang Ming nodded and didn't think much about it. He got off from Bai Hai's magenta and followed Jing Xiaolu to Jing Xiaolu's car, which was not far from the dormitory. Yang Ming, why didn't you drive? Jing Xiaolu asked as she walked. I was thinking that you have a car, so I won't drive, Yang Ming said. My car number is very eye-catching. I don't want to drive it out to show off. You are really something. Sister Xinyao and I were thinking that you would also drive your car to the class reunion to show off. Jing Xiaolu said whatever she wanted to say. She didn't hide it and said her thoughts directly. Chapter 1635. After listening to Jing Xiaolu's childish words, Yang Ming couldn't help but be dumbfounded. What is there to show off? You are now the company's chairman. Do you still need to show off? Is it necessary? Yes, of course, it is necessary. You don't know how everyone despised us when Sister Xinyao and I went to the class reunion last year. Jing Xiaolu remembered the last class reunion and was somewhat indignant. At that time, Brother Bai Hai was not the current property manager. He was just an ordinary bar punk. After we went, we were ridiculed by others. It was so embarrassing. Puff, cough, cough. Yang Ming coughed again. Brother Bai Hai, haha, what's wrong? Jing Xiaolu saw that Yang Ming suddenly laughed and coughed. She was suddenly inexplicable. What happened to Brother Bai Hai? Just now, do you know what this kid, Bai Hai, called you? Yang Ming took a deep breath, forcibly stopped himself from laughing, and then said. What did he call me? Jing Xiaolu asked curiously. Didn't he just call me Xiaolu? He has always called me that. He called you Sister Xiaolu just now. Yang Ming said with a smile, now you call him Brother Bai Hai. The seniority between you two is messed up enough. Ah. Jing Xiaolu was slightly stunned after listening and said, why did he suddenly call me Sister Xiaolu? He called me Brother Yang. He felt that it was disrespectful to call you Xiaolu, so he called you Sister Xiaolu. Yang Ming shrugged. Moreover, you are now the company's chairman. He naturally wants to please you. He feels that he can't call you Xiaolu anymore. I see. Jing Xiaolu understood after listening to Yang Ming's explanation, but she was somewhat unhappy. He didn't call Sister Zhiyun that way. Yang Ming naturally knew what Jing Xiaolu was referring to. Bai Hai called Lin Zhiyun's sister-in-law, but called her sister Xiaolu. It was obviously a difference in treatment. Her relationship with Yang Ming was not as good as Yang Ming's relationship with Lin Zhiyun. However, Yang Ming was naturally embarrassed to say that Bai Hai wanted to call Jing Xiaolu's sister-in-law again. He just smiled faintly and changed the topic. Where is your class reunion? Oh. It's the Immortal Resort near Jiduan City. Jing Xiaolu said, I don't know who booked this place. It's in the suburbs, so far away. Immortal Resort? Yang Ming was speechless after hearing the name. Why is it the Immortal Resort again? I really have a fate with this resort. I've been here twice. The 2 class reunions were in this place. I didn't expect that the 3rd time I came with Jing Xiaolu would still be in this place. After the Sui family and the Wei family were finished, Yang Ming really didn't know who owned the Immortal Resort. At first, Bao Sanli also proposed to take over the Immortal Resort. Yang Ming wasn't very interested, so this matter was left unsettled. When the Immortal Resort was mentioned again, Yang Ming remembered some things about the Sui family and the Wei family. Why? Is there anything wrong? Jing Xiaolu saw that Yang Ming seemed to be surprised, so she asked curiously. Nothing. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and touched his chin. I have been here twice. Once with Zhou Jiejia, and once with Chen Mengyan. They were all class reunions. It can't be. So coincidental? Jing Xiaolu listened to Yang Ming's explanation and felt that sometimes things in the world were really coincidental. Several of Yang Ming's class reunions were actually set in this place. Yang Ming could only continue to smile bitterly. Wang Lin was very chic today. He drove a new Audi A8, drove his girlfriend Little Ran, and accompanied her to attend the junior high school class reunion. This car is much more comfortable than a Jetta taxi. Little Ran touched the leather seats and exquisite interior of the car and sighed from the bottom of her heart. That's right. Why don't you look at what kind of car this is? Although it's a Volkswagen, how can the grade be the same? Wang Lin said proudly, this time, I can give you some face, right? The key is that your job is also good. It's decent to say that you are the security director and the deputy manager of the logistics department. You are also the driver of the company's biggest leader. If others know, they will be envious of you. Little Ran was also a little proud. She was happy that she didn't misjudge him. In the past, whether it was her parents or former classmates, they all advised her to break up with little Wang. But now? When she attended the class reunion last year, because little Wang was only a member of the security team and not even the deputy captain at that time, little Ran was treated with disdain by her classmates. Many people who didn't enter the university and just entered the society had good family connections. Some of them even drove cars for their leaders. They drove cars to show off at the class reunion. Although it wasn't a good car, it was just an old Audi 100 or an old Guanban. But no matter what, they still drove, so they had the right to brag. Of course, after all, at this age, there were still very few students who had private cars. Except for a few who had good family conditions and their parents bought cars for them, there weren't many who struggled to buy a car. Little Wang's Audi A8 could be considered the most high-end car parked there. I guess I'm lucky. Little Wang scratched his head embarrassedly. The chairman of the company is not Brother Yang now. Brother Yang transferred all the shares to his girlfriend. That's not the same. Little Ran listened to little Wang's words and was a little angry. She laughed and scolded, you say, isn't your money mine? That's also true. Little Wang nodded. Little Ran was Jing Xiaolu's junior high school classmate. However, when little Wang and little Ran attended the class reunion last time, because of little Wang's low status, he didn't dare to brag like those who had good jobs. He could only sit in a corner and quietly listen to those powerful classmates bragging about how good their jobs were, how good the company's benefits were, how much the boss valued him, and so on. At the last class reunion, Jing Xiaolu and Gu Xinniao naturally belonged to the group of people who were looked down upon. They also sat in the corner like little Wang and little Ran and listened to others bragging, so little Wang didn't notice Jing Xiaolu. Even if he saw her, he wouldn't remember her. He wouldn't associate her with his boss's girlfriend, the current chairman of the company. Little Wang didn't dare to call Jing Xiaolu's name at home. He was Yang Ming's driver. Naturally, he had to respect Yang Ming absolutely. As a driver, if he didn't respect the leader, what would others think when they saw it? Therefore, little Wang only mentioned Vice President Jing or Chairman Jing at home. He never called Jing Xiaolu, so little Ran didn't know that her junior high school classmate was now the chairman of her lover's company. The organizer of this class reunion, Zhang Kaiyuan, was a smart person. His father was in the foreign trade business, and he also inherited his father's business. The purpose of this class reunion was to gather these former classmates and see what they were doing now. He wanted to see if there was anyone who could help his family's business so that he could rope them in. Zhang Kaiyuan stood in front of the Immortal Resort building and looked at his junior high school classmates. They either drove themselves, were sent by their parents, or came in groups by taxi. Although Zhang Kaiyuan smiled at each of his classmates, some of these smiles came from the bottom of his heart, while some were just for show. Zhang Kaiyuan's memory was very good. How each classmate came, what car they drove, whether they drove themselves or were sent by their parents or friends, Zhang Kaiyuan remembered clearly. At present, the best car Zhang Kaiyuan saw was a BMW 3 Series, which was slightly better than his own Toyota Camry. The one who drove the BMW 3 Series was the former class belle, Wu Xiang. It was said that she was kept by a rich man, who gave her a lot of pocket money every month. This BMW was also given to Wu Xiang by the boss. In fact, in Zhang Kaiyuan's opinion, Wu Xiang was not the most beautiful in the class. She was just dressed very fashionably. In Zhang Kaiyuan's opinion, the most beautiful person was actually Jing Xiaolu. Jing Xiaolu's foundation was actually very good, but she liked some non-mainstream dressing. Thinking of Jing Xiaolu, Zhang Kaiyuan's heart ached for no reason. He had always liked Jing Xiaolu since junior high school. Later, he finally succeeded in pursuing her. However, Jing Xiaolu broke up with him after cheating him of a lot of money. He didn't take advantage of her at all. He didn't even hold her hand. Later, Zhang Kaiyuan asked around and found out that Jing Xiaolu used this method to cheat rich men. He was treated as a rich man by Jing Xiaolu. Chapter 1636. This made Zhang Kaiyuan angry, but at the same time, there was a sour feeling of reluctance in his heart. This was because Zhang Kaiyuan had truly fallen in love with Jing Xiaolu. He had once pursued Jing Xiaolu again without caring about the past. However, Jing Xiaolu did not like such a gloomy person like him, so she did not pay much attention to him. Until last year's class reunion, Zhang Kaiyuan originally thought that he had forgotten about Jing Xiaolu. He was proud of his success and inherited his father's family business. He could call the wind and summon the rain in the company. Beautiful female secretaries often played with him in the office, and beautiful female employees often ran in front of him to flirt with him. How carefree was this life? However, when he saw Jing Xiaolu again at the class reunion, Zhang Kaiyuan's heart was completely tied to Jing Xiaolu. When he saw that Jing Xiaolu was still living a poor life, he tried his best to brag about how capable and rich he was now at the class reunion. He wanted to attract Jing Xiaolu's attention, but Jing Xiaolu did not show any interest in him. After the class reunion, Zhang Kaiyuan had also privately invited Jing Xiaolu a few times, but Jing Xiaolu did not agree to go. In Jing Xiaolu's eyes, Zhang Kaiyuan was just a rich guy who had been cheated by her once. She did not expect Zhang Kaiyuan to be cheated a second time, so naturally, she would not go to Zhang Kaiyuan's appointment. Of course, for Wu Xiang, Zhang Kaiyuan also showed considerable enthusiasm. Don't underestimate this mistress. It should be known that the mistress' social circle was actually quite wide. The friends she knew were also some big bosses. Maybe one of them could be helpful to his business. Even if she persuaded her man to buy a batch of goods from his trading company, it would be enough for him to earn enough. Zhang Kaiyuan's trading company seemed to be quite large, but the profits were not high. Trading was basically a competition of relationships and price. Even if you had connections, no one would buy if the price difference was too outrageous. After helping Wu Xiang park the car, he let her go to the hall to wait for the other students. Wu Xiang was a social butterfly. As soon as she entered the room, she chatted with a few of her more active classmates and exchanged contact information with them. Zhang Kaiyuan deliberately helped Wu Xiang park her car at the most eye-catching spot outside. It was right in the middle of the resort's entrance, right next to his Toyota Camry. In Zhang Kaiyuan's opinion, Wu Xiang's car could be considered the most high-end among his classmates. Judging from last year's situation, there wouldn't be a car more high-end than this car. Zhang Kaiyuan basically kept in touch with those students who were doing well. He also had some understanding of their movements. No one changed their car. How could it be so easy to change a car in the unit? How could they retire before they reached the end of their lifespan? That was why Zhang Kaiyuan parked Wu Xiang's car right in the middle of the entrance of the resort. It could more or less show off the strength of this class reunion. It could also be considered as showing off. I didn't expect Wu Xiang to be doing so well. Zhang Kaiyuan thought with envy and disdain in his heart. Just as Zhang Kaiyuan was pondering, the sound of a car engine pulled him back from his thoughts. Zhang Kaiyuan raised his head and was shocked. It was actually an A8. Are the people in this car also here to attend the class reunion? Zhang Kaiyuan carefully thought about his classmates who were doing well. None of them had an Audi A8, right? It could be another guest of the resort. Zhang Kaiyuan thought so and didn't care. After all, none of his classmates drove such a luxury car, so he didn't pay much attention to it. However, the more he didn't pay attention, the more the car stopped not far in front of him. Zhang Kaiyuan. Little Ran stuck her head out of the car window and waved at Zhang Kaiyuan. Is it here? Sun Xiaoran? Zhang Kaiyuan looked at his classmate Sun Xiaoran, who stuck her head out of the Audi A8's passenger seat in surprise. Isn't this Sun Xiaoran in college? Her boyfriend is a hotel security guard. How can he afford such a luxury car? Could it be that Sun Xiaoran changed boyfriends? Thinking of this, Zhang Kaiyuan felt that it was very possible. He quickly ran over and said in a flattering manner, Xiaoran, welcome, welcome. It's really an honor to have you here. Sun Xiaoran smiled sweetly. Facing Zhang Kaiyuan's completely different attitude from last year, Sun Xiaoran felt very refreshed in her heart. It's an honor to have you here. Why didn't you say this last year? However, Little Ran didn't say it out loud because she knew Zhang Kaiyuan very well. She knew his way of dealing with people, so she wasn't surprised. You are indeed worthy of being the class's organizing committee member. This class reunion is organized well. It happens once a year, so everyone has a chance to get together. Sun Xiaoran said with a smile. If it were other times, Sun Xiaoran wouldn't like to participate in any class reunion. Every time she came, she would be a supporting character and watch others brag. It was not interesting at all. Isn't this how it should be? Zhang Kaiyuan smiled and looked down at the person in the driver's seat. He asked with a smile, this is Sun Xiaoran's boyfriend, right? Aren't you going to introduce him to me? My family's little Wang. Didn't you see him last year? Sun Xiaoran introduced proudly. Why? Big organization committee member Zhang is too busy and can't remember small people like us? You flatter me. I was wondering why he looked familiar. It turned out to be brother Little Wang. Zhang Kaiyuan wondered in his heart. Isn't Sun Xiaoran's boyfriend a hotel security guard? A security guard can drive an Audi A8. Isn't this a joke? However, Zhang Kaiyuan's memory was outstanding. After taking a closer look, he felt that Wang Lin was really familiar. It was as if he had seen him last year. Could it be that he was the person from last year? Where does brother Little Wang work? Although Zhang Kaiyuan was puzzled in his heart, he still asked with a smile, this car is really good. It is the best car in our class. This is not worth mentioning. This car is not mine. I'm just driving for the leader in the company. Wang Lin shrugged and said. Driving for the leader? This leader is not ordinary. Those who can sit in this car in the company are at least at the level of a vice president, right? Zhang Kaiyuan calculated the price of an Audi A8 in his heart. Even his father's car was only an Audi A6. My family's little Wang is in Mingyang Entertainment. He is the head of the security department and the deputy manager of the logistics department. He is already very busy, but there is no other way. The leader thinks highly of him. He likes to let my family's little Wang be his driver. Little Ran pretended to be distressed and said casually. Mingyang Entertainment? Zhang Kaiyuan had heard of this company before. Recently, the news of the Songjiang International Hotel and the Douglas Vast Hotel had spread like wildfire. Isn't the Songjiang International Hotel a subsidiary of Mingyang Entertainment? I heard that this Mingyang Entertainment has a strong background in Songjiang. This little Wang is actually the head of the security department and the deputy manager of the logistics department of Mingyang Entertainment? This position is not small, but he is still driving for the leader. This leader is probably either the president or the chairman. Otherwise, who can afford to hire him? Thinking of this, Zhang Kaiyuan was even more respectful. Ordinary people can't even drive for the leader. Only those who are trusted by the leader can do it. Hee, yeah. In fact, it is also the case when you think about it. Sun Xiaoran smiled proudly. Okay, let's not talk about it first. Let's find a parking space and park the car. Then, we can talk inside. Little Wang was not a person who liked to show off. Seeing that Sun Xiaoran was getting more and more ridiculous, he quickly interrupted. Your car is the best car in our class. It should be parked in the middle of the resort entrance. Zhang Kaiyuan quickly stopped little Wang from driving. This can also show the overall strength of our class reunion. But the parking space here is already full? Little Wang looked at the center of the resort entrance with some doubts. That Camry is mine. I just need to move it a little. Zhang Kaiyuan ran to the front of his car and opened the door. He quickly reversed the car to the side and drove to a parking space in the corner. Chapter 1637. In Zhang Kaiyuan's heart, little Wang had become one of the people he must befriend in this class reunion. The driver of the company's leader was someone the company's leader trusted. Sometimes, such a person's words were more effective than a vice president's. Although the Songjiang International Hotel and the Douglas Vast Hotel were at loggerheads, little Wang did not believe that the Songjiang International Hotel would be finished just like that. He was one of the few people with a clear head. Although the Songjiang International Hotel was nothing and his parent company, Mingyang Entertainment, was nothing, when he thought of the newspaper report a few days ago that there was another company in the Mingyang Group, Mingyang Heavy Industry. What kind of company was this? It was the only heavy industry company in the province and was even the leading company in the country. With the support of such a big brother, how could the Songjiang International Hotel close down? Of course, he did not see the live report of the press conference. He also did not have time to pay attention to other people's companies. He only occasionally saw this news in the newspaper. If he had seen the live broadcast of the press conference on TV, he might have been surprised to find that there was a very familiar person he had been thinking about, Jing Xiaolu. Zhang Kaiyuan secretly scolded himself for being blind. If he had known, he would not have let Wu Xiang park her car in the middle. It would have been better to leave the spot for Wang Lin and Sun Xiaoran. Although his parking spot was also in the middle, it was a little further away from Wu Xiang's spot. After parking his car in the corner, Zhang Kaiyuan got out of the car and quickly ran to Wang Lin's Audi A8. He opened the door for him and respectfully took out his business card. He handed it over with both hands and said, "Brother Wang, this is my business card. Please give me more advice in the future. If you have any business, please take care of me. Kaiyuan Trading Company, General Manager." Little Wang glanced at the business card, then put it in his pocket. He took out his own business card and handed it back to Zhang Kaiyuan. "This is my business card. The workmanship is not as good as yours." "Hee, it's fine. It's just a business card. It's just a contact card." Zhang Kaiyuan quickly waved his hand and said. Zhang Kaiyuan's business card was gilded, while Wang Lin's business card was an ordinary white offset. Zhang Kaiyuan understood that with Wang Lin's identity, it was indeed inappropriate to use a business card that was too good to show off. It would be bad if it was accidentally more exquisite than the leader's business card. "Is everyone here?" When Sun Xiaoran saw that Zhang Kaiyuan took the initiative to exchange business cards with her man, she was very proud. Last year, Zhang Kaiyuan had also distributed business cards. Although everyone was given one, it was more or less a perfunctory attitude. He was only friendly to a few students who had good jobs and were doing well. He even asked for each other's business cards and stated that he would keep in touch and take care of each other in the future. At that time, Sun Xiaoran could only be envious. However, Zhang Kaiyuan also treated little Wang like this today. This proved that little Wang's status was enough to be proud of his class. Zhang Kaiyuan's actions when he stopped the car just now could prove this point. Zhang Kaiyuan had parked his car in the middle. Although it was not in the middle, it showed how much Zhang Kaiyuan valued this. As for the BMW 3 Series next to it, if Sun Xiaoran guessed correctly, it should be Wu Xiang's. Although the car was not as good as hers, Wu Xiang's BMW was hers. It was different from hers. Some of them have arrived, but there are still some who haven't. "Brother Wang, little Ran, you guys go in first. There are other students from our class in the hall. I still have to wait outside for the other students to come," Zhang Kaiyuan said. "Okay, then we'll go in first." Sun Xiaoran nodded and said. Zhang Kaiyuan sent the two of them to the entrance of the resort's hall before he turned around and continued to wait for the other students to arrive. Although little Wang had been working for less than a month and had not received his salary, Sun Xiaoran steeled her heart and brought little Wang to the store to buy a few decent suits. She also bought a few branded clothes. For this, she even borrowed some money from the butler. Sun Xiaoran's parents did not agree at first. However, when Sun Xiaoran told them about little Wang's current job, the two elders immediately smiled. They knew that little Wang could now earn more than 20,000 yuan a month. Without hesitation, they took out 10,000 yuan and gave it to them so that they could buy two better clothes first. This was the first time Sun Xiaoran raised her head in front of her parents. This was the first time she dared to be intimate with little Wang in front of them. This was also the first time little Wang entered Sun Xiaoran's house without being on tenterhooks. In the past, even if Sun Xiaoran's parents did not chase him out, they would still mock him and make him leave in shame. Therefore, if it was not a special need, little Wang would not go to Sun Xiaoran's house at all. On this day, little Wang finally got the treatment that a son-in-law deserved. Although Sun Xiaoran's parents greeted him coldly, they sent him away warmly after knowing his job. They also told him and Sun Xiaoran to come home often to play when they were free. While little Wang felt comfortable in his heart, he was also more grateful to Yang Ming. If it were not for Yang Ming's promotion, he would not be where he was today. Although he was confident in his relationship with Sun Xiaoran's parents always obstructed him. Sooner or later, there would be a crack in their relationship. Sun Xiaoran, who was well-dressed, and Wang Lin walked into the resort's hall and saw some familiar classmates. In fact, when Sun Xiaoran and Wang Lin stopped the car, some classmates had noticed them. Seeing Zhang Kaiyuan's attitude toward them, how could they not understand that these two people were rich? Some of the classmates who were doing well immediately surrounded little Wang and Sun Xiaoran. Those who were not doing well and were in the same situation as Sun Xiaoran last year were the same this year. They felt a little jealous in their hearts. It seemed that tonight's celebrity lineup was destined to increase by another pair. Some of these people were happy for Sun Xiaoran, and some were jealous and envious. However, in any case, Sun Xiaoran had become the focus of everyone, just like Wu Xiang. This feeling made Sun Xiaoran feel a little smug. Her gaze toward little Wang also became tender. Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu took the lead, while Bai Hai and Gu Ximiao followed behind. The two cars soon arrived at the Immortal Resort. At this time, Zhang Kaiyuan welcomed a few classmates. He looked at the list in his hand. The few classmates who were doing well were already here. Those who came later should not be doing too well. Therefore, Zhang Kaiyuan did not want to wait any longer. He planned to return to the hall and chat with the classmates who came later. As for those who came later, he would let them come in by themselves. However, thinking of Sun Xiaoran's example, Zhang Kaiyuan wondered, among the few classmates who came later, would they be able to make a comeback? This was really hard to say. Zhang Kaiyuan was a smooth and slick person. The purpose of his class reunion was to close the distance between a few classmates who were doing well so that they could help him in his business development. Therefore, if the classmates who came later were doing well, wouldn't he miss out on them? Thinking of this, Zhang Kaiyuan decided to wait a little longer. It was not too late to wait for everyone to arrive before he went in. Moreover, the most important thing was that the person he had been thinking about, Jing Xiaolu, had not come yet. Zhang Kaiyuan was not sure if Jing Xiaolu would come this year. After all, she and Gu Ximiao were neglected last year. The former gangster, Bai Hai, was just a gangster in a bar. Zhang Kaiyuan, a rich second generation, did not really care about him. Not long after, a BMW X5 drove over. Zhang Kaiyuan rubbed his eyes. Did I see wrongly? This car was also driven by a classmate of mine? Why are there so many strange things this year? I won't. There was already Sun Xiaoran as a special case. How could there be such a coincidence? This car was definitely not a classmate of mine. Who's the person standing there? Your classmate? Yang Ming looked at Zhang Kaiyuan, who was standing at the entrance of the resort, and asked Jing Xiaolu. Oh, yes, it's my classmate. A dumb rich guy. Jing Xiaolu also saw Zhang Kaiyuan and said with a frown. Chapter 1638. Stupid rich guy. Yang Ming was slightly stunned. He thought of Lu Jifei and roughly understood what the stupid rich guy in Jing Xiaolu's words meant. He couldn't help but shake his head helplessly. Is he someone who was deceived by you again? Who asked him to be lustful? He deserves to be deceived by me. Jing Xiaolu curled her lips and said with some disdain, no one asked him to be deceived by me. Yang Ming was a little speechless when he heard Jing Xiaolu's theory. Then, based on what you said, he was willing to do it? That's right. I didn't ask him to give me money. It was his own thoughts that weren't pure. He wanted to have a relationship that was beyond friendship with me. I didn't promise him anything. Jing Xiaolu shook her head and said. Yang Ming smiled. Things were probably not so simple. If Jing Xiaolu didn't hint at something, Zhang Kaiyuan wouldn't have taken the bait. Both parties could only say that it was half and half. Both of them had some problems. However, Yang Ming could understand Jing Xiaolu's early family environment. She lived with her grandmother, and her grandmother was sick. If there was no money, the family would be finished. However, sympathy was sympathy. Yang Ming didn't agree with Jing Xiaolu's approach. For those so-called stupid rich guys, who gave her money and had ulterior motives, Yang Ming could only give the same sympathy. Then, if I gave you the car and your shares, would I be considered a stupid rich guy? Yang Ming suddenly thought of a very serious problem. You? Of course not. Jing Xiaolu smiled and said, you didn't scheme anything from me. I took the initiative to throw myself into your arms, but you didn't want it. Cough cough. Yang Ming coughed twice. Let's find a place to park the car. Why are there so many cars? My classmates are doing pretty well. Jing Xiaolu looked at the place closest to the resort entrance. It was full of cars. If they wanted to park, they could only park a little further away. Don't you want to say hello to that stupid rich guy first? Yang Ming looked at Zhang Kaiyuan, who was standing not far away, and asked Jing Xiaolu. I'm too lazy to talk to him. Forget it. Jing Xiaolu shook her head and drove the car to the side of a Camry not far away. This seems to be the stupid rich guy's car. I saw it last year. Jing Xiaolu's car drove past, and Bai Hai's Magotan followed. However, Gu Xinyao and Zhang Kaiyuan did not have any conflicts. Moreover, Gu Xinyao also wanted to show off. So, she opened the window and shouted to Zhang Kaiyuan, you are standing at the door. Are you specially welcoming me? Zhang Kaiyuan suddenly saw Gu Xinyao and was slightly stunned. He then looked at the Magotan. It was at least the same level as his Camry. He thought, no way. This Gu Xinyao also made a fortune. However, Zhang Kaiyuan couldn't understand, so he didn't think too much. He quickly walked over and said with a smile, it's Xinyao. As he said that, he glanced at the driver's seat of the car Gu Xinyao was in. After confirming that Gu Xinyao's male companion was still Bai Hai, he greeted, Brother Hai, you're here too, right? Previously, with Sun Shaoran and Little Wang as an example, Zhang Kaiyuan did not dare to casually suspect that Gu Xinyao had changed boyfriends. He decided to look carefully before speaking. With one look, it was indeed the previous hooligan, Bai Hai. Hee, I'm here. Bai Hai smiled and stopped the car first. He walked down from the car and said to Zhang Kaiyuan, you still remember me. It's not easy. There was a hint of sarcasm in these words. When Zhang Kaiyuan was in school, he was the one who fawned over him the most. However, after graduation and taking over the family business, he began to despise and alienate him. During the last class reunion, he only said a few meaningless greetings and left. This made Bai Hai a little annoyed, so he didn't forget to take the opportunity to mock him. How can I forget? Look at what you're saying. Brother Hai, you were our big brother when we were in school. Zhang Kaiyuan said with a smile. That's rare. Bai Hai didn't intend to continue to pursue the matter, especially since Yang Ming was here. He couldn't be so unruly and argue with these people, lest Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu see it and be unhappy. Brother Hai, looking at your outfit and car, you seem to be doing quite well. Where are you working now? Zhang Kaiyuan pretended to ask casually. Not really. I'm just a property manager in Mingyang Garden. Bai Hai said indifferently. Mingyang Garden? So, you're also working in the Mingyang group? Zhang Kaiyuan asked in surprise. He had heard of Mingyang Garden before. It was the most high-end villa area in the city. The property company there was also quite profitable. No wonder Bai Hai was doing quite well now. The property of Mingyang Garden was naturally the property of the Mingyang Property Company. It belonged to the Mingyang Group. Yeah, what's wrong? Is there a problem? Bai Hai asked curiously when he heard Zhang Kaiyuan say so. Nothing. Xinyao, our class's Sun Sharon's wife, also works in the Mingyang Group. You might know each other, said Zhang Kaiyuan. Oh. Such a coincidence. Then, we have to have a good chat when we meet. I don't even know. Bai Hai nodded in surprise after hearing it. Hee, they are inside. You can see them when you go in. Zhang Kaiyuan pointed to the resort hall behind him and said, you go in first. I'll wait for the other students outside. Bai Hai wanted to say that they still had to wait for Brother Yang. However, after thinking about it, Zhang Kaiyuan didn't know Brother Yang, so he didn't say it. Gu Xinyao pushed Bai Hai and gave him a look. Then, she said to Zhang Kaiyuan, okay, then we'll go in first. Bai Hai felt that it was rude to go in without waiting for Yang Ming, but he didn't know what Gu Xinyao meant. However, since Gu Xinyao gave him a look, he would listen to her. But my car can't be parked here, right? There are other people's cars in front. Bai Hai looked at the BMW 3 Series in front of his car and asked. It doesn't matter. This is Wu Xiang's car. They are all our classmates. It doesn't matter. Zhang Kaiyuan waved his hand and smiled. Everyone can play until tomorrow and leave together. Okay then. Bai Hai nodded. Hearing that they were all Gu Xinyao's classmates, he agreed. When he heard Wu Xiang's name, Bai Hai couldn't help but be moved. This little flirtatious hussy had an affair with him when they were in school. Thinking of Wu Xiang's flirtatiousness, Bai Hai couldn't help but be fascinated. It seems that this little flirtatious hussy has found a rich man to buy such a good car. Seeing Bai Hai's lecherous look, how could Gu Xinyao, who knew Bai Hai's past, not know what he was thinking? She immediately glared at him with some dissatisfaction. When Zhang Kaiyuan sent them to the door and turned to leave, Gu Xinyao couldn't help but ask, what are you thinking about? No, nothing. Bai Hai was shocked. My thoughts were seen through by Gu Xinyao. He didn't dare to have any improper thoughts about Wu Xiang now. His future development now depended on Gu Xinyao. If he made Gu Xinyao unhappy, she would tell Jing Xiaolu and Lin Jiyun, and tell Yang Ming about it. Then, he would be fucked. So Bai Hai quickly said, I was thinking, why didn't you wait for brother Yang and sister-in-law Xiaolu? How impolite. What do you know? Gu Xinyao knew that Bai Hai was changing the topic, but she also knew that it was good that Bai Hai could be so obedient now. She didn't insist on it, so she explained, do you know what happened between Xiaolu and Zhang Kaiyuan in the past? What? Xiaolu and Zhang Kaiyuan did it before? It can't be, right? Bai Hai was stunned and asked. What did they do? What did they do? Gu Xinyao rolled her eyes at Bai Hai. Would Xiaolu like him? don't you know? Xiaolu and Brother Yang didn't like anyone before, and they didn't let anyone take advantage of them. They are still virgins. Oh, I understand. Xiaolu thought that Zhang Kaiyuan was a rich guy and wanted to kill him. Bai Hai said with a sudden realization. So, when Xiaolu and Brother Yang come together later, they will inevitably feel awkward when they see Zhang Kaiyuan. The most difficult thing is that Zhang Kaiyuan is quite infatuated with Xiaolu. If they say something inappropriate, how awkward would it be for both of us? Gu Xiniao said, that's why I asked you to leave quickly. So that's the case. That's what I was thinking. Bai Hai looked like he understood and quickened his pace. In a while, Brother Yang will inevitably know about sister-in-law Xiaolu's history. It's better for us to pretend that we don't know. If he hears it, how can we meet in the future? My wife is smart. Chapter 1639. That's of course. If you stand there stupidly, Brother Yang will definitely have a gap with you in a while. Even Xiaolu's heart will definitely feel uncomfortable. Gu Xiniao said, this kind of thing, who is willing to let an outsider know? That's true. It seems that I didn't consider it thoroughly. It's all thanks to you. Otherwise, I wouldn't even know why I would be hated by the two of them. My career can be considered to have come to an end. Bai Hai said in his heart. What a close shave. Come to an end? Whether you can continue as a property manager is another matter altogether, said Gu Xiniao. Now that you mention it, it's really possible. Bai Hai nodded in agreement and said, then let's hurry up and go in quickly. Otherwise, it will be awkward if we meet them later. As Bai Hai said this, he quickened his pace. Gu Xiniao also quickened her pace. At this time, Jing Xiaolu also parked the car and got out of it. Zhang Kaiyuan, who was not far away, thought that the person in the BMW X5 should not be his classmate. However, after Zhang Kaiyuan sent Bai Hai and Gu Xiniao off, he inevitably turned his head and looked at the person who got out of the BMW. When Zhang Kaiyuan saw the familiar figure that he had been thinking about day and night, he was suddenly stunned. Jing Xiaolu? Zhang Kaiyuan looked at the beautiful girl who came out of the BMW in confusion. From the looks of it, it was indeed Jing Xiaolu. However, she was much purer and more capable than her previous non-mainstream appearance. She also had a much more beautiful temperament. Is this Jing Xiaolu? Zhang Kaiyuan subconsciously rubbed his eyes. BMW X5? How can Jing Xiaolu come in a BMW X5? Could it be that she hooked up with another rich guy? Looking at Jing Xiaolu elegantly locking the car, Zhang Kaiyuan's mouth opened even wider. This car is Jing Xiaolu's? Originally, Zhang Kaiyuan thought that Jing Xiaolu came in someone else's car. However, when he saw Jing Xiaolu lock the car with the car key in her hand and recalled the direction when she got out of the car, he knew that Jing Xiaolu drove herself here. When did this chick get rich? Zhang Kaiyuan frowned. In his heart, he didn't want to see Jing Xiaolu get rich because only when Jing Xiaolu was very poor, or even destitute would he have the confidence to win Jing Xiaolu's heart in one fell swoop. But now, it seemed that Jing Xiaolu was doing well. Zhang Kaiyuan took 2 deep breaths in an unbalanced manner. A trace of resentment spontaneously rose from the bottom of his heart. He didn't want or allow Jing Xiaolu to have such a good life. Only Jing Xiaolu would ask him for help when she had no money. Since Zhang Kaiyuan was waiting outside the resort, he actually expected that there might be a 3rd student in the class after Sun Xiaoran and Gu Xiniao, but Zhang Kaiyuan never expected that the 3rd person would be Jing Xiaolu. He definitely didn't want this to be Jing Xiaolu. He was thinking about how to build a relationship with the current Jing Xiaolu, but he suddenly found that another man got out of the BMW. Who was this man? Could he be Jing Xiaolu's new rich guy? That's not right. Jing Xiaolu is driving a luxury car now. Why is she still trying to hook up with rich guys? Could this man be a gigolo that she is keeping? Zhang Kaiyuan looked at Yang Ming's tall and strong body and Yang Ming's dressing. He increasingly felt that this was a possibility. Yang Ming was wearing casual sportswear, so Zhang Kaiyuan couldn't tell his grade. That was why Zhang Kaiyuan thought so. Thinking that Jing Xiaolu had actually started to play gigolo, Zhang Kaiyuan's heart felt even more uncomfortable and resentful. She looked for a gigolo instead of me? Could it be that I'm not as good as a gigolo? The anger in Zhang Kaiyuan's heart suddenly rose with a whoosh, and his face became unusually gloomy. Isn't this Jing Xiaolu? Looking at you, where did you get rich? Zhang Kaiyuan walked over to Jing Xiaolu, and his voice involuntarily became sarcastic. He originally wanted to have a good talk with Jing Xiaolu, but after seeing Yang Ming beside Jing Xiaolu, he couldn't control his emotions. Why? Does President Zhang have any advice? Jing Xiaolu frowned at Zhang Kaiyuan's sarcastic tone. Last year, Zhang Kaiyuan was not like this when he saw her. Although he kept talking about money to make her value him, he was not as sour as this year. I don't dare to give advice. Zhang Kaiyuan curled his lips, glanced at Yang Ming, and said, Is this your gigolo? Zhang Kaiyuan, what are you talking about? Do you know how to talk? Jing Xiaolu was suddenly unhappy. I'm warning you. You better watch yourself. What's wrong? Why are you so protective of your gigolo? Zhang Kaiyuan pinched his throat and said, Jing Xiaolu, you used to hook up with rich guys. Now you are playing gigolo. It seems that your positions have changed. Why? Am I wrong? I'm not a gigolo. My face is very dark. Yang Ming really wanted to slap this idiot to death, but considering that this was Jing Xiaolu's class reunion, it was not good for him to make a scene. As a matter of fact, Jing Xiaolu was looking forward to this class reunion. Moreover, Yang Ming had been cultivating his mind and character recently. He valued harmony. Chen Jie and Kaik had made such a big scene, but Yang Ming did not do anything to them. Now, he naturally would not be angry because of a few words from a fool. What? Zhang Kaiyuan was stunned after hearing Yang Ming's words, then he suddenly laughed. Ha 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 ha. I say, buddy, you are really funny. No wonder Jing Xiaolu picked you. You are really fucking funny. I'm dying of laughter, haha. Zhang Kaiyuan, be serious. Jing Xiaolu interrupted Zhang Kaiyuan's laughter and said, This is my boyfriend, Yang Ming. He is not a gigolo. Okay, it doesn't matter if he is Yang Ming or Li Ming. Zhang Kaiyuan said disdainfully, If he is not a gigolo, why is he sitting in your car? Why doesn't he have a car? Jing Xiaolu's car was obviously feminine. Whether it was the steering wheel cover or the furnishings in the car, it was obviously feminine. Therefore, Zhang Kaiyuan was sure that this car was Jing Xiaolu's and not Yang Ming's. I have a car, but today is the weekend, so I didn't bother the driver, said Yang Ming faintly. Driver? You have a driver? Zhang Kaiyuan laughed again, ha 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 ha. Look at your clothes. You have a driver? Do you think you are a big boss or a chairman? Oh, I used to be. Yang Ming still said in a very indifferent tone. Used to be? Ha ha ha, then why aren't you now? Did someone fix you? Zhang Kaiyuan did not believe Yang Ming's words at all. He felt that Yang Ming was talking nonsense with him for his face. Now she is. Yang Ming pointed at Jing Xiaolu and said. Ha 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 ha, do you think I can believe you? Zhang Kaiyuan laughed even more happily, especially when he heard Yang Ming's last sentence. Zhang Kaiyuan was even more certain that Yang Ming was talking nonsense. How could it be possible that he was the chairman in the past and Jing Xiaolu now? The chairman position was held by the person who had the most shares in the company. How could someone else be the chairman just because they wanted to? Did he give all his shares to Jing Xiaolu? How was this possible? Not to mention boyfriend and girlfriend, even married couples would rarely be so generous. Therefore, Zhang Kaiyuan felt that Yang Ming was deliberately making up a lie because he was afraid that Zhang Kaiyuan would laugh at him for being a gigolo. However, the lie was not fully made up and was full of loopholes. It was laughable. What Yang Ming said is true. Jing Xiaolu saw that Zhang Kaiyuan did not believe it, so she added a sentence. Really? Ha ha ha, Jing Xiaolu, I really don't know how you became rich. How can you help others with such a brainless lie? Ha 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 ha. Zhang Kaiyuan laughed so hard that he held his stomach. He could not catch his breath. Xiaolu, there is something wrong with your classmate's brain. Don't bother with him. Let's go in. Yang Ming looked at Zhang Kaiyuan, who was laughing so hard, and said sympathetically. Okay, let him laugh himself to death, Jing Xiaolu said hatefully. Jing Xiaolu said bitterly. If she hadn't promised Yang Ming that she wouldn't use foul language in the future and that she should be more demure and quiet, Jing Xiaolu would have already exploded. Gigolo, who the fuck are you saying has a problem with his brain? Zhang Kaiyuan suddenly became anxious and blocked in front of Yang Ming. Who knows who has a problem? Yang Ming shrugged. Chapter 1640. Alright, since you're asking for it, don't blame me for being impolite. Today, I want to make things clear with you. Zhang Kaiyuan roared with red eyes. Oh. How do you want to make things clear? Yang Ming crossed his arms and asked with a smile. He was not angry at all. Yang Ming's mentality had changed. He was completely looking at Zhang Kaiyuan as if he was watching a monkey show. Since you said that you were the chairman in the past, then tell me. Which company were you the chairman of? How did you give the position of chairman to Jing Xiaolu? Zhang Kaiyuan asked. In his opinion, as long as he asked a few more questions, this gigolo would definitely be exposed. By then, he would see how he would humiliate him. He would definitely make him ashamed. Moreover, Zhang Kaiyuan had already decided that he would tell this matter to his classmates in a while. He would let all his classmates know about this matter and ruin Jing Xiaolu's reputation. This bitch actually dared to keep a gigolo. How am I not as good as a gigolo? Oh, the company. It's Ming Yang Entertainment. Yang Ming looked at Zhang Kaiyuan and said. Ming Yang Entertainment. What? You said Ming Yang Entertainment? Zhang Kaiyuan repeated the name Yang Ming said and looked at Yang Ming with some astonishment. Yang Ming nodded. Ha 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 ha. Zhang Kaiyuan suddenly laughed wildly again. This time, he laughed even more wildly than before. He laughed so hard that he was about to die. What's wrong with you? Yang Ming looked at Zhang Kaiyuan with some doubts. Are you sick? Gigolo, there's a path to heaven, but you don't want to take it. There's no door to hell, but you still walked in. This time, don't blame me for exposing you. Zhang Kaiyuan was so proud that he was about to fly to the sky. He felt that even God was helping him. He was so lucky. This gigolo didn't fabricate other things, but he just had to fabricate Ming Yang Entertainment. Wasn't he looking for death? Didn't he know that among his classmates, one of them was the security manager and the deputy manager of the logistics department in Ming Yang Entertainment? This time, this gigolo is dead meat. I will look for Sun Sharon's boyfriend, brother Little Wang, to confirm if he knows this gigolo. Hee hee, I'm so sinister. Expose what? Yang Ming increasingly felt that there was something wrong with Zhang Kaiyuan. Whether it was mentally or mentally, there was something wrong with him. Are you sure you're from Ming Yang Entertainment? You won't change it? Zhang Kaiyuan asked again. Yang Ming looked at Zhang Kaiyuan as if he was looking at a fool. Change what? Alright, it's fine if you don't change it. Don't regret it. Zhang Kaiyuan was extremely excited. This was his chance to expose this gigolo. I'll give you one last chance. Are you going to change it or not? Are you sure this is the answer? Xiaolu, was your classmate like this when he was in school? Why do I feel like there's something wrong with your brain? Yang Ming was really speechless when it came to Zhang Kaiyuan. Gigolo. You're the one who wants to die, so don't blame me. Motherfucker, just you wait, just you wait. Zhang Kaiyuan was so angry that his whole body was trembling. If you have the guts, just wait here for me. Don't go away. Oh, what are you going to do? Yang Ming looked at Zhang Kaiyuan's posture. Why does it look like he lost a fight and then said a few harsh words to get back his pride? You'll know when you wait. I'll give you a surprise. Ha 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 ha. Zhang Kaiyuan thought of what was about to happen and laughed wildly again. While laughing, Zhang Kaiyuan quickly ran in the direction of the resort's lobby. Yang Ming looked at Zhang Kaiyuan's back as he left, then looked at Jing Xiaolu. This guy should be very stupid and gullible, right? Did you cheat him of a lot of money in the past? No, he wasn't this stupid in the past. I don't know what happened to him today. Jing Xiaolu shrugged and said. Zhang Kaiyuan quickly ran back to the resort's hall. Previously, when Zhang Kaiyuan was talking to Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu outside, Gu Xinyao and Bai Hai were looking at the situation outside from the corner of their eyes. However, they did not dare to be too obvious as they were afraid that others would notice something strange. But even so, many people began to pay attention to the commotion outside. They saw Zhang Kaiyuan making threatening gestures and laughing out loud. They didn't know if their conversation was good or bad. However, the scene of Jing Xiaolu coming out of the BMW had attracted the attention of many students. Most people were more concerned about why Jing Xiaolu became rich than what she and Zhang Kaiyuan were talking about. When they saw Zhang Kaiyuan running over, everyone pretended to be busy with their own things and chatted about their own topics. Zhang Kaiyuan went straight to Sun Xiaoran as soon as he entered the door. Xiaoran, brother little Wang. Oh. Zhang Kaiyuan, what's the matter? Sun Xiaoran heard Zhang Kaiyuan calling her, so she turned around and asked doubtfully. Previously, when Zhang Kaiyuan was talking to Jing Xiaolu at the door, she and little Wang did not notice. The two of them were busy talking to a few of their classmates. Now that Zhang Kaiyuan ran over, they only noticed him. Brother little Wang, there's something. Can you come out with me for a while? Zhang Kaiyuan smiled and said to Wang Lin. Oh. What's the matter? Wang Lin asked curiously. I want you to help me confirm something. Come out first, said Zhang Kaiyuan. This. Little Wang did not know what Zhang Kaiyuan wanted to do, so he was a little hesitant. Little Wang, just go. Since the big organization committee member Zhang Kaiyuan is looking for you, it must be something serious. Sun Xiaoran glanced at little Wang and said slowly. Zhang Kaiyuan was giving Sun Xiaoran enough face by looking for little Wang in front of so many people. It made her very proud in front of her classmates. Oh, okay then. Since Sun Xiaoran had spoken, little Wang naturally agreed and followed Zhang Kaiyuan to the door. Hee hee, gigolo, it's time for you to die. This time, I have found the owner of the Ming Yang company. Let's see how you will die. After exiting the resort's door, Zhang Kaiyuan pointed at Yang Ming and said to little Wang, brother little Wang, look at that gigolo. He said that he is the chairman of the Ming Yang company. Do you know him? What? Gigolo? Little Wang was stunned. Then, he looked in the direction Zhang Kaiyuan pointed at and was shocked. Why is my boss here? Yes, it's that gigolo. Zhang Kaiyuan thought that little Wang did not see Yang Ming, so he pointed at Yang Ming again. It's him. Look, he said that he is the chairman of the Ming Yang Entertainment. He also said that he has a driver. Brother little Wang, help me see if your company has such a person. Little Wang did not reply to Zhang Kaiyuan this time. Instead, he quickened his pace and ran toward Yang Ming. Brother Yang, why are you here? Ah. President Jing, you are here too. Little Wang? Yang Ming was surprised to see little Wang here. Why are you here? Brother Yang, I am here with my girlfriend to attend her class reunion, Little Wang explained with embarrassment. Little Wang rubbed his hands and explained embarrassedly. He didn't expect to meet Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu here. It was so embarrassing. He was caught by the boss for personal use. Brother Yang and President Jing wouldn't have any prejudice against him, right? They would not replace him as soon as he went back, right? Thinking of this, Little Wang's heart immediately began to feel anxious. He regretted accompanying Sun Xiaoran to attend this class reunion. It would have been better if he was not so vain. So what if he did not show off at this class reunion? This job was the most important thing in his life. Wait a minute, brother Little Wang. Do you know this gigolo? Zhang Kaiyuan felt that something was amiss. He quickly interrupted their conversation and asked. What gigolo? This is Brother Yang. Little Wang was a little unhappy when he heard Zhang Kaiyuan's address. I am Brother Yang's driver. Do you think I don't know him? You are this gigolo's driver? Zhang Kaiyuan was a little dumbfounded. He stuttered, so, this gigolo is really the chairman of Ming Yang Entertainment? He used to be. The current chairman is President Jing. Little Wang was furious when he heard Zhang Kaiyuan call Yang Ming a gigolo. He grabbed Zhang Kaiyuan's collar and lifted him up. Who are you calling a gigolo? Do you have the guts to say it again? Do you believe that I will kill you? Chapter 1641. Cough cough. Let go of me. Let go of me. Zhang Kaiyuan's neck was suddenly choked by Little Wang. He almost fainted. Wang Lin, what are you doing? Do you want to choke me to death? You dared to call Brother Yang a gigolo. Do you think I will let you live? I will let you know who the gigolo is today. Originally, Wang Lin was worried and depressed because Yang Ming had seen him using the company's car for personal reasons to attend his girlfriend's class reunion. However, Zhang Kaiyuan didn't know how to appreciate his kindness and even dared to call Yang Ming a gigolo. In order to make up for his mistake and show his loyalty, Wang Lin suddenly exploded. He was originally a security guard at the Songjiang International Hotel and started from the bottom. When he applied for the job, he was only able to stay because of his strong body. Therefore, Zhang Kaiyuan was like a little chick in front of him. He picked him up immediately. Zhang Kaiyuan obviously knew what Wang Lin did before, so he didn't dare to resist Wang Lin. This was because he knew that if he resisted, he would be beaten up even more miserably. Wang Lin, let go of me first. I'm going to be choked to death by you. Let go of me first. Zhang Kaiyuan begged for mercy. I can let go of you, but you have to make yourself clear. Who is the gigolo? Wang Lin obviously wasn't prepared to let Zhang Kaiyuan go so easily. I am. I'm the gigolo, okay? Wang Lin, Brother Wang, let go of me first. Cough cough. It's so uncomfortable. Zhang Kaiyuan's face turned pale from being choked by Wang Lin. His words also softened. Humph. Wang Lin coldly snorted. He forcefully released Zhang Kaiyuan and threw him to the side. Don't think that you are so great just because you are some kind of president. Open your eyes wider and be more eye-catching in the future. This is Brother Yang, the boss of our Ming Yang Entertainment. To be honest, in Wang Lin's eyes, Zhang Kaiyuan's identity was really nothing. He was far inferior compared to Yang Ming. He was just a manager of a small trading company. Zhang Kaiyuan refused to accept it, but he couldn't do anything. He didn't expect Yang Ming to actually be the former chairman of Ming Yang Entertainment. He even gave the chairman position to Jing Xiaolu. Why were there so many strange things happening? Originally, Wang Lin was here to expose Yang Ming, but he didn't expect to almost get beaten up. He had really shot himself in the foot. He was really unlucky. Yes. I understand. Zhang Kaiyuan gritted his teeth and said to Yang Ming, Brother Yang, I'm sorry. It was a misunderstanding. Please don't mind it. I didn't mean it. Looking at the ferocious Wang Lin, Zhang Kaiyuan couldn't help but lower his head. Of course, he didn't know that Yang Ming was even more ferocious than Wang Lin when he was angry. It was just that Yang Ming thought of him as a clown and didn't want to bother with him. I don't mind. Yang Ming shook his head and said seriously. Oh. Yang Ming's magnanimity made Zhang Kaiyuan stunned. He thought, is there something wrong with my ears? Did I hear wrongly? He had humiliated Wang Lin so much before. Now that Wang Lin's subordinate was here, Wang Lin was still so magnanimous when he didn't dare to resist. How was this possible? Even Wang Lin looked at his boss in surprise. Isn't this a little too magnanimous? Why did he let Zhang Kaiyuan off so easily? Even Wang Lin didn't want to let Zhang Kaiyuan off so easily. However, since Yang Ming had spoken, he couldn't do anything. I have never bothered with mental patients. Yang Ming added in a timely manner, also, you seem to be mentally ill. Fuck. Zhang Kaiyuan's face turned red from Yang Ming's words. He wanted to say, fuck, but he suddenly saw Wang Lin, who was glaring at him from the corner of his eyes. He immediately swallowed the fuck and laughed dryly, hee, Xiaolu, this classmate of yours is indeed sick. I said that he is mentally ill, but he still laughed. There is also something wrong with his brain. Yang Ming shrugged and looked at Zhang Kaiyuan with pity as he spoke to Jing Xiaolu. When Zhang Kaiyuan heard Yang Ming's words, he immediately rolled his eyes. He was so angry that he almost fainted. He thought to himself, how can I not laugh? How dare I not laugh? If I don't laugh, I will be beaten up. Pfft. Ha 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 ha. Before Jing Xiaolu could laugh, little Wang couldn't help but laugh. He suddenly realized that the boss was indeed the boss. He was so good at insulting others. He thought to himself, I was wondering why the boss would let Zhang Kaiyuan off so easily. It seems that I was anxious for nothing. The boss already had a plan. Yes. I'm sick. Zhang Kaiyuan lowered his head and said resentfully. Look, if you are sick, you should have said so earlier. Wouldn't it be fine if you admitted it earlier? Yang Ming nodded as if he understood. Since you have admitted it, then we will leave. You can continue to be crazy here. Really, you are wasting time. AI, that's right. Jing Xiaolu also nodded. Zhang Kaiyuan, if you are sick, you should go see a doctor. Why are you still organizing a class reunion here? Isn't this a joke? Zhang Kaiyuan was so angry that his whole body trembled. Evil rose from his guts. A flash of resentment flashed across his eyes. He gritted his teeth and said, that's right. I am mentally ill. I am going to see a doctor. Zhang Kaiyuan had already made a ruthless decision in his heart. He decided to make Yang Ming, Jing Xiaolu, and Wang Lin regret it for the rest of their lives. Hey, brother Yang, look at this idiot. He even admitted that he is sick. Wang Lin suddenly laughed when he heard Zhang Kaiyuan say that he was sick. Yang Ming nodded faintly and looked at Zhang Kaiyuan strangely. There was a hint of doubt in his eyes. The sharp senses of the assassin profession made Yang Ming suddenly feel a chill and murderous aura. Although it was very faint and fleeting, Yang Ming still noticed it. Among the four of them, Jing Xiaolu, Wang Lin, and Zhang Kaiyuan, Wang Lin and Jing Xiaolu were the ones he trusted. The only one who might have murderous intent towards him was Zhang Kaiyuan. Therefore, although Yang Ming didn't say anything, he secretly raised his guard against Zhang Kaiyuan. It seems that it is not good to be too kind. He didn't want to do anything to Zhang Kaiyuan before, but Zhang Kaiyuan obviously hated him. He was probably looking for a chance to take revenge. Yang Ming, Jing Xiaolu, and Wang Lin walked into the resort's lobby together. Zhang Kaiyuan stayed outside the resort, waiting for the arrival of the other students. In fact, when Wang Lin followed Zhang Kaiyuan out, many students couldn't help but gather at the door to see what was going on. Sun Xiaoran, in particular, was concerned about why Zhang Kaiyuan was looking for Wang Lin even though she let Wang Lin go out with Zhang Kaiyuan. Therefore, Sun Xiaoran wasn't in the mood to chat with the others. She got up and walked toward the door. With Sun Xiaoran leading the way, the others naturally didn't need to avoid anything. They all squeezed through. Bai Hai and Gu Xinyao were puzzled when they saw Zhang Kaiyuan return and call Wang Lin out. Although they couldn't hear what Zhang Kaiyuan said to Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu outside, they had been paying attention. Why did Zhang Kaiyuan call Wang Lin out at this time? Wang Lin hadn't been Yang Ming's driver for a long time, so Bai Hai hadn't seen him face to face. He only felt that this person looked familiar and didn't think too much about it. Most of his attention was on Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu. The people in the class didn't know what Zhang Kaiyuan said to Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu. However, everyone clearly heard what Zhang Kaiyuan said after Wang Lin went out. When they saw Zhang Kaiyuan's exasperated expression, everyone roughly understood what had happened. They also understood why Zhang Kaiyuan called Wang Lin out. It turned out that when Zhang Kaiyuan saw Jing Xiaolu bringing a man to the class reunion, he thought that the man was a gigolo. He didn't expect that the man was the chairman of Ming Yang Entertainment. He even asked Wang Lin to confirm. In the end, he lost face. Not only was he humiliated, but he was also almost beaten up by Wang Lin. Most people knew that Zhang Kaiyuan had a one-sided love for Jing Xiaolu. Some people even didn't understand why a man with such good conditions like Zhang Kaiyuan would have a soft spot for such a non-mainstream girl. They all felt that Jing Xiaolu didn't know how to appreciate favors. She didn't accept such a good man's pursuit. What was she waiting for? Wasn't there something wrong with her? Chapter 1642. In their opinion, Jing Xiaolu was just a greedy girl. Why was she pretending to be virtuous? It was already good enough for her to find a man like Zhang Kaiyuan. She was already blessed for 8 lifetimes. Of course, these were the thoughts of everyone at last year's class reunion. Their thoughts this year were completely different. People were always like this. Their thoughts would always change according to the environment. When they saw Jing Xiaolu's car just now, they saw the new popular person in the class, Wang Lin, being respectful to Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu. When they heard that Yang Ming was the former chairman of Ming Yang Entertainment and Jing Xiaolu was the current chairman of Ming Yang Entertainment, everyone's thoughts changed instantly. They were all wondering if Zhang Kaiyuan was a toad lusting after a swan. What kind of status did Jing Xiaolu have? What was Zhang Kaiyuan to the chairman of Ming Yang Entertainment? Wasn't it just a small foreign trading company? What kind of ability was that? This Zhang Kaiyuan actually didn't know what was good for him and was still arguing with others. Wasn't he courting death? Seeing Wang Lin arrest Zhang Kaiyuan, these people felt relieved. They thought that Zhang Kaiyuan had eyes but couldn't see and should be taught a lesson in order to learn his lesson. Those who had opinions about Jing Xiaolu in the past, even those who were disdainful and despised her, naturally changed their mentality in an instant. Many people were like this. When facing people who were stronger than them, their thoughts would be jealousy and envy. However, when facing people who were much stronger than them, it was not jealousy but a kind of awe. The kind of awe that was unreachable. Many people who knew the scale of Ming Yang Entertainment knew how big this company was and how strong its social connections were. Jing Xiaolu's status had reached a height that they could never reach in their lifetime. Therefore, the envy and jealousy they had towards Wang Lin before had completely disappeared. When he heard Zhang Kaiyuan call Yang Ming a gigolo, Bai Hai knew that it was over. This Zhang Kaiyuan was over. He was definitely over. Bai Hai still remembered how Yang Ming had sent Wu Xinkai to the hospital. If Wu Xinkai hadn't offended Yang Ming, he wouldn't have been able to follow Yang Ming. Now that Zhang Kaiyuan had insulted Yang Ming, how could Yang Ming let him live? Bai Hai's eyes were already fantasizing about the scene of peach blossoms. However, it was not Yang Ming who made a move, but Wang Lin who made the first move. However, after Wang Lin made a move, Yang Ming did not do anything to Zhang Kaiyuan. Bai Hai rubbed his eyes. Could it be that Brother Yang has a good temper now? And he let Zhang Kaiyuan? Sister-in-law, 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 sister-in-law. When Jing Xiaolu suddenly heard Bai Hai call her sister-in-law Xiaolu, her face suddenly turned red. On the way here, she was still in a dilemma with Yang Ming in the car because Bai Hai's address for Lin Jiyun was different from hers. Now that she heard Bai Hai call her by the name she wanted to hear, she suddenly felt embarrassed. He's just a fool. Brother Yang, don't bother with him. Bai Hai smiled and said, do you need me to teach him a lesson? No need. Yang Ming shook his head. Everyone looked at Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu's entourage. They respected Jing Xiaolu even more from the bottom of their hearts. The two upstarts in the class were Jing Xiaolu's subordinates. How could they not respect Jing Xiaolu? They had also accepted Jing Xiaolu's current identity and left the past Jing Xiaolu behind. No one could associate the non-mainstream Jing Xiaolu with the current pure and elegant Jing Xiaolu. However, the two of them were the same person. Since ancient times, there was a saying that one should not ask about a hero's origin. Therefore, when Jing Xiaolu's current identity became the chairman of Mingyang, most people had forgotten about Jing Xiaolu's past. Those who had a good relationship with Jing Xiaolu when they were in school and had been estranged from her in the past few years also gathered around. They began to inquire about Jing Xiaolu's recent situation. Jing Xiaolu was much more capable than before. She calmly answered a few students' questions and entered the resort's hall with Yang Ming and the others surrounded by everyone. Looking at Jing Xiaolu's back, Zhang Kaiyuan had a vicious plan in his heart. Previously, Gu Xinyao, Bai Hai, Sun Xiaoran, and Wang Lin were the focus of everyone. However, after Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu came in, the four of them began to circle around Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu. When Sun Xiaoran first found out that Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu were her boyfriend's bosses, she was a little scared. She regretted asking Wang Lin to drive the company's car to attend the class reunion. However, when she saw that Yang Ming did not mention this matter, Sun Xiaoran was relieved. However, she also sat with Wang Lin beside Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu. She began to show goodwill to Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu. Among this batch of students, Jing Xiaolu's identity and status were the highest. Those students who felt that they were doing well also began to get close to Jing Xiaolu and Yang Ming. Yang Ming naturally did not care much about these things. The initial feeling of pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger was no longer something that Yang Ming pursued now. Therefore, in the face of everyone's flattery, Yang Ming was only indifferent. He did not show too much joy. On the other hand, Jing Xiaolu, who was despised and looked down upon in the past, was now being fawned upon and respected by others. This feeling of soaring to the sky made Jing Xiaolu, who had turned over a new leaf, very much enjoy. Yang Ming also understood Jing Xiaolu's current mood very well. Back then, when he became powerful, he went to his uncle's place to feel proud. Didn't he feel the same way? Almost all the students in the class had arrived. Zhang Kaiyuan also entered the resort's hall. Zhang Kaiyuan, who was originally the main character of the class reunion, had a very complicated mood at this time. Seeing Jing Xiaolu become the main character of the class reunion, the resentment in Zhang Kaiyuan's heart deepened. Jing Xiaolu, you look down on me. Very good. Very good. Since this is the case, then you have to pay the price. After taking a deep breath, Zhang Kaiyuan adjusted his mood and walked to the side of the crowd. He said, almost everyone is here. Li Xiaowei, Zhou Jiaming, and Wang Siki are still not here. Let's not wait for them. I have already informed the front desk. If they come, let them go directly to the restaurant to find us. Are we going to eat? A classmate immediately responded after hearing Zhang Kaiyuan's words. We are all hungry. Everyone is hungry, right? That's right. Let's go to the restaurant to eat now. Zhang Kaiyuan said with a smile, everyone, pack up your things and go to the front desk to get a room number. Those who brought their family members can share a room with them. Those who didn't bring a boyfriend or girlfriend can share a room with your close friends. The room fee is still the same as before. Everyone will pay for it yourselves. Brother Yang, sister-in-law Xiaolu, I will get the room card for you. Little Wang and Bai Hai said in unison as soon as Zhang Kaiyuan's voice fell. Little Wang heard Bai Hai call Jing Xiaolu's sister-in-law Xiaolu. He thought that he should follow suit and call Jing Xiaolu's sister-in-law Xiaolu. Previously, he called Jing Xiaolu President Jing. However, when he thought that he was serving Yang Ming, he called Yang Ming Brother Yang. Calling Jing Xiaolu as sister-in-law Xiaolu would naturally make them feel closer. Little Wang was Yang Ming's driver. It was normal for him to help Yang Ming get a room card. However, Bai Hai was the manager of the property company, yet he was so attentive. However, thinking that Bai Hai and Yang Ming came together, it was conceivable that they had a good relationship. Even Sun Xiaoran didn't expect that her classmate, Jing Xiaolu, would actually become the chairman. She already knew that Jing Xiaolu had a good relationship with Gu Xinyao. At this time, she didn't feel strange when she saw Bai Hai being busy. Let's go get it together, said Yang Ming as he stood up from the sofa. Jing Xiaolu was very happy with Bai Hai and Little Wang's tactfulness. She looked at them both approvingly. Bai Hai knew it, but Little Wang didn't understand. What does Jing Xiaolu mean by looking at me? Is she blaming me, or is she praising me? You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.